Well, as the slowly setting sun starting to cast some long shadows from the east to the west, you're looking down at midfield at Fred Brown Stadium, the home of the Defiance Bulldogs. Second week in a row as head coach Rittenauer and company going to try and get a bitter taste out of their mouth after a woulda, coulda, shoulda contest last week. In the end, after dominating for the better part of the first half, 3 big plays in the space of about 5 minutes and 37 seconds, went from a 7-0 lead to a 21-7 deficit, and they were never able to recover, falling to Van Wert, dropping their overall record to 2-3, 1-3 in the Western Buckeye League. On the flip side, the Shawnee Indians continue to steamroll, 4-1 overall, including a perfect record in conference play. The Bulldogs looking to play the role of spoiler here this evening. We welcome you aboard, everybody. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show is on the air. DCTV Sports. Brent Palvadon alongside Andy Tracy. Our thanks going out to our pregame sponsor, Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, located on North Clinton Street in Defiance, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Visit them online at drivebobestill.com, or you can check out their great selection of new and used vehicles in person. That is not the correct record for the Shawnee Indians. They are 4-1 overall, 4-0 in conference play. Again, the Bulldogs at 2-3 and 1-3 respectively. Andy, as the band takes the field, and this is going to be a special night for the band. You and I have talked about it. The band of class, just head and shoulders above just about everybody else in the area, but the seniors and their parents going to be recognized here this evening. It's one of those things that just adds a little extra touch, and Defiance can be very proud of their marching band.
They sure can, and it's amazing how many people don't leave the stands during halftime.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to watch an incredible halftime show put on by this really, really solid band. And the fact that they're out there right now doing this without their seniors is amazing. They have so many band members. It's able to fill the air so much with incredible sound. It's just very, very enjoyable. And again, it makes for a wonderful halftime and a big asterisk or stamp on another great football game.
Well, it adds to the atmosphere. It just gives you a little something extra to look forward to. Again, a salute and a tribute to the band of class, the Defiance Marching Band. As the seniors and their parents being recognized, we'll refocus on football here. Look, it's a game of inches, and in talking with Coach Rittenauer, and we're going to hear from him in just a couple of minutes here, they broke down the film. And they pretty much knew what they were going to see, and the film, some cases, gives you a different look, maybe surprises you. Not the case after last week's game. Coach Ritt literally told me 6 plays made the difference in that game. You and I talked about it. You know, sometimes it's a slow bleed, and you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, how did we get here? Oh, yeah, you look down at your stat sheet and say, okay, this drive chewed up clock. This was a 3 and out. Then this drive chewed up the clock. This was a 3 and out. Wasn't the case last week. Again, Van Wert scored on runs of 73, 68, a pass play of 70, and then a fumble recovery of 32 yards. It was a situation where if you went to the concession stand, you missed a lot. They've got to cut down on the big play tonight.
Absolutely, and Defiance played solid football for 90% of the game. They were able to march down the field. They won in the trenches for sure. Their offensive and defensive line overpowered Van Wert last week, and it was really, really fun to watch. If it weren't for a couple of really bad turnovers, again, the fumble and the interception in the end zone, which the referee got into the way of the receiver, which probably wouldn't have ended up in an interception, but you never know if it would have been a completion. However, those plays just kind of flipped the switch of the game. There was such an incredible energy and momentum here in Defiance before the game started, and they carried it all the way basically till halftime, and then a couple of plays, and they lost some gas, and Van Wert was able to run those big plays and score and ultimately win the ball game.
You've got to have a short memory, and I know it's tough when you're dealing with 17, 18-year-old. Yes, they're young men, but there's still a lot of pop in them, as my grandfather used to say. But what's the old phrase? Not too high after a win. Not too low after a loss. That one's going to suck some air out of you. But the simple fact is you've got another game for the second straight week on your home field, and you've got a chance to play the role of spoiler and hand Shawnee their first loss in conference play.
Yes, and I think Defiance is very capable of it. Of course, if they can control that line of scrimmage just like they did in the past, I think they can win this ball game. Now, I agree with you. They have to come out with some energy like they did last week. We know that this far into the season, when you've lost 3 games, it can be easy to have absolutely no gas. And if they show up without energy, without momentum, Shawnee's going to have some big plays, and they're going to win the ball game.
Shawnee has some big playmakers. We're going to run down their offense in particular, but they've got some pretty stout defensive players as well. Not the least of which, quarterback J.J. Spiker, who does a little bit, or should we say a lot, of everything. His stats read basically like a video game. We're going to break them down in just a couple of minutes. But first, had a chance to stop out at a Defiance practice earlier this week and talk to Coach Rittenauer. We'll get his take on, number one, the recap of last Friday night, but more importantly, what it will take to walk off the field with a win here this evening. Don't you go anywhere. Back with more of the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show right after this on DCTV Sports. Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues on DCTV Sports. Brent Balbinot saying thank you for joining us. The sun did rise on Saturday. We're going to break down a tough loss to Van Wert, but there's a reason they say the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. That's because where you're going is more important than where you've been. We're also going to preview Shawnee in just a second here. But first things first, we want to thank our pregame sponsor here on DCTV, Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, located on North Clinton Street in Defiance. Check out their great selection of new and used vehicles, whether it's in person on their lot or online at drivebobestil.com. They will guarantee you they've got something in your budget. I don't know that I've ever challenged them to meet a poor broadcaster's budget, but I might just do that. What do you think?
I think you should.
It'll be.
They got some stuff out there for everybody.
It'll be a used 1982 K car, but they'll probably find something for me.
Maybe
For
they
about
have the old La Car.
You remember those?
Yeah, the lady
cow.
from I can't think of it. The 18. That's what she drove.
Yes. Well, now,
That was
pop
a long time
culture
ago.
mixed with sports, ladies and gentlemen. If we could only get Mr. T to come in and say, I pity the fool.
pity the fool.
Actually, we'll suit him up, make
That's
him a
right.
nose guard. Coach, in all honesty, I know it was a tough one Friday night, and we've talked about it multiple times. You were almost prophetic in your pregame. It hasn't been the standard play. It's been the big play. And again, you can say woulda, coulda, shoulda, but you come out, you had to have been proud of your team. I mean, you dominated the first quarter, really the first quarter and a half. You're up 7-0, and then all of a sudden, in the space of about 5 minutes and 37 seconds, 3 big plays. You're trailing 21-7 at the intermission. A few more, including, a 68 and a 73-yard touchdown run. But look, there were a couple of Division I college runs. You tip your cap sometimes to the opposition, but at the same time, you break down the film to make sure it doesn't happen again. What did the film tell you from Friday night?
We need to stop making mistakes. We need to get out of our own way. And, we looked at film Friday, and of the 10 plays on that first drive, I think 4 of them we ran. There was a mistake involved, whether it was the blocking up front or the running back, and we're still getting 3-4 yards. So, all week we're going to stress after watching that film. We've got to focus on us. We've got to stop making the mistakes, the drive killers, the holding. We still had some guys running the wrong routes. And then I think we also have to be able to, and I think we've been handling adversity, but, we just have to be able to settle down. We've got to be able to get some guys, and the seniors are trying, but they got to get some help. They got to get some guys that basically draw a line in the sand, and we got to stop the bleeding and keep doing. Because you're right, I thought we came out very physical. I thought we came out and really exerted our will running the football. I thought we played great defense. We were very sound. Everybody knew their alignments. We had the assignments, and but against a team like, especially with the running back like Kelly, you're off one. But you take away those, and I know it's like you said, the coulda, woulda, shoulda, but one of these days we've got to. I was watching the NFL and I watched something with Drew Brees, and he said you got to earn the right to win, and we have to earn that. We've done all the other stuff. Now we've got to take care of us.
When you talk about that, and I want to get you to expand maybe a little bit about what you mentioned last week, because being a step, even a half a step out of position, look, if you're on the backside of the play offensively, it's not going to have an impact. But defensively, if you aren't where you need to be, especially if you're playing in space, a 4 to 5 yard gain becomes a 40 to 50 yard game, and that's when the game gets out of hand. Is that the lesson hopefully learned by your guys from last Friday?
I hope so. I mean, we've been trying to learn the lesson since really Wapakoneta. We are, our guys are working hard. They're having great practices. And I think it might not show on the tape, but I think we've gotten better. We've worked on open field tackling. We've worked on taking the proper angles, but sometimes it comes down to that one of the first touchdown. I think they had that big run. We had three guys, and they 3 weeks ago, I don't even think they're in the picture. This week, we're there, but we take the wrong angle and we allowed the guy to cut back on us. And, that all started with, we had a chance at an interception and it just goes the wrong. Our guy wasn't quite ready. And that's the stuff we got to talk. That's the stuff we got to fix. Great teams make their own breaks. And right now, it seemed like all the breaks went against us on Friday. And hats off to the football gods, but they reward the. Van Wert was in the right place. Sometimes they're in the wrong. They were in the wrong place at the right time. But we've got to make our own breaks, and that comes from really, like I said, focusing on us and making sure that we are doing what we need to do to win the game.
Offensively, you score 27 points. Prior to kickoff, if I would have told you would have scored 27 points, you probably would have told me you felt good about your chances to walk off the field with a win. Gibbs and Camasso, both 100-plus yards performances unofficially by my stat sheet. Gibbs had a man-sized game. You talk about playing Iron Man football on both sides. Anybody else grade high once you read the film?
I think you have to look at our offensive line. I think those guys have really taken it they've taken upon themselves to sort of develop an attitude. And we haven't had it in a long time. And I'm not saying that nobody else, but I think these guys are really embracing what we're trying to build on here. And Tyler Doden Kiesling, Goose, Jack Heinze, a guy that doesn't get a lot of press is Chris Bowling. I mean, he's the smallest one of those guys, and everybody comes after him. And like I said, Chris is a fighter. He usually has one of the toughest assignments. And I really think all those guys up front with Jackson Becker there at the end, those guys, like I said, they have taken it upon themselves. They knew that the team was going to rely on them. And, those guys, anytime you have running backs that are running that far, it starts up front with those guys opening some holes, and we're going to need them again this week.
Let's go ahead and break down tonight's opponent. Shawnee comes in after dropping their season opener. They have won every game since, unbeaten in the WBL. I know it's unfair to say it's a one-man team, but the conversation, at least offensively, starts with their quarterback, Spiker. He's their leading rusher. Obviously, he's got a 2-to-1 ratio through the air as far as touchdowns to interception. He's got multiple targets. It's not like there's just one guy, but break this team down for us.
Well, I mean, Spiker's the straw that stirs the drink there. I mean, everything starts with him. I think he's 6'2", 5'11", 215. He can make every throw. He's dynamic. I mean, you see people send guys at him, and he evades the rush, and he's always looking downfield. But then at times, too, he'll tuck it and run. He'll make you pay for it. So we've got to be real sound when it comes up front, trying to keep him contained. And like I said, their passing game, they got guys that are probably some of the fastest receivers in the league, and they've got a big play attitude. I think they're very dangerous. They're well coached up front. Both sides of the ball, they try to play bully ball. I mean, they're gonna sit there and try to exert their will on you. So we're gonna have to play our best game.
This is not a phrase I usually use. You don't hear often with quarterbacks, but do you spy him this Friday night?
Well, I think we better. I mean, there better be 11 guys looking at him. We are and we don't, because you can't just spy on him, because then that leaves you open on the other. And I don't know if we have any real this sounds hot. I don't know if we have any types of guys that could spy, because usually when you spy, you also have that guy do something else too. But right now, our goal is to try to contain him. I don't know if you can really stop him, but we can definitely try to get in his way and try to slow him up a little bit. But yeah, we better have 11 guys looking at the guy.
11 guys are spies.
Yes.
There you go.
There we go.
They're recruiting some more, so maybe stop by the football offices, fill out an application.
Yeah, that's how we do it at Defiance.
Defensively, what do they look like?
Defensively, I think I know their defensive backfield is probably one of the best ones we're going to see. They're very aggressive. They like to run man. And up front, they're aggressive. I mean, they're led by number 55 on both sides of the ball. I think his last name is Bentz, I think. And he's a tough hombre. I mean, he pushes people around on offense, and he disrupts things on defense. And like I said, it's going to be a great challenge. They're 4-1 for a reason. I mean, it's the WBL, so you don't go 4-0. As a fluke. So they're definitely a physical team, and it's going to be a great battle.
Look, it's a meat grinder every night in this conference. It's just one game at a time. I know that sounds coach-esque or cliche-ish, but in all honesty, you can't win two until you win the next one. just what's your message to your team? What do you want to see them take the field with tonight?
I want to see them take the field with physicality, the same type of physicality we've had all week. We've got to concentrate on limiting the mistakes, limiting the penalties, and we've got to earn the right to win tonight. And we got to do that by doing our jobs, and really getting after it on both sides of the ball and being relentless.
All right, here's to playing with a chip on your shoulder. Coach, as always, we appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck.
Coach Rick, we're going to need the luck up in the booth. I'm not sure that I got any eligibility left, but if I do, I might be able to kick.
Maybe
How's
you can
that?
spy.
I can spy from the booth.
Spy from the
How's
booth.
that sound?
That'd be good.
We're going to take a quick timeout. Big thank you going out to our sponsor, Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, and Estill Chevrolet Cadillac. We're not going to add another label
They
just
want to
yet.
spy too, I
Unless
guess.
you want one. They're spying the new one. They're spying you. Stop out and check out their great selection of new and used vehicles. We're going to take a quick timeout. We're back with more right after this on DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
And there you take a look at the band of class finishing up their pregame festivities here at Fred Brown Stadium. Still about 2.5 minutes away from kickoff as Defiance, 2-3 overall, 1-3 in the Western Buckeye League, taking on the Shawnee Indians, 4-1, 4-0 as the Indians drop their season opener to Lima Central Catholic, and then they have kept their foot on the gas ever since that. We'll wait and see if the Bulldogs can play the role of spoiler here tonight. As we are getting set, the colors on the south side of Fred Brown Stadium here will be just to the right of your screen.
Along with the Shawnee and Defiance football teams, please stand and honor this great.
They will make their way towards the middle of the field. We'll get you our Northwest State Community College keys to the game in just a minute, as well as the Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. But right now, as the Stars and Stripes working their way onto the gridiron, we will let you know that our national anthem is brought to you by the Defiance County Veterans Office, proud to support local veterans and their families, connecting them with resources available to them. Again, the Defiance County Veterans Office sponsoring our national anthem. And now, the Defiance Band with Class with the Star Spangled Banner. The national anthem, courtesy of the Band of Class, and brought to you by our underwriter, the Defiance County Veterans Office. Brent Babylon alongside Andy Tracy. We're getting set for go time. Time now for our keys to the game, brought to you by Northwest State Community College. Your key to great career opportunities begins with a great education at Northwest State. Visit northweststate.edu or give them a call at 419-267-1320 today. Well, last week was a bitter pill for the Bulldogs to swallow, but they're going to try and get that taste out of their mouth here this evening. What do they need to do to walk off the field with a win? Andy, your keys for Defiance.
Well, I think, of course, they have to, again, stay ahead of the games. Now, Defiance likes to play controlled football. They like to control the clock, they like to run the ball, and they do a really, really good job of it. However, penalties, negative plays, they're really going to hurt you when you try and play that kind of football. So they need to make sure that they stay ahead of the chains always. Also, they have to eliminate those big plays. 3 big plays murdered them last week. Also, the turnover battle that they lost as well, which you could count those as 2 really big plays as well. So they need to eliminate the big plays.
On the flip side for the Indians, keys for them?
Well, gap control, of course. You have to stop Defiance from running the football. And so you're going to have to control the gaps. You cannot allow the Defiance offensive line to push you around like they did the Van Wert team last week. Also, you need to score early. Make Defiance throw the football. They're not very efficient. They're not very effective. And so get ahead of the game and try and make them throw the football and then get after their quarterback, their good young quarterback.
Those are your keys to the game, brought to you by Northwest State Community College. For the starting lineups, both teams' captains met at midfield earlier, and Shawnee won the toss and elected to defer. So it will be Defiance's offense on the field first. Defiance's offense, we'll get it for you after this return. Brought to you by Baker Schindler Company, proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker-Schindler.com. Time now for our Superior Credit Union opening kickoff. Superior Credit Union, a not-for-profit, member-owned financial cooperative. Visit SuperiorCU.com to find out more about joining the winning team at Superior Credit Union. A little bit of dysfunction there, and Jordan Wright's going to try and make something out of nothing, and that's not a bad return, considering that could have been disastrous. You beat me to it. Disastrous was an adjective, one of many that was running through my head.
Yep, and T.J. Burris was the one that actually returned the ball there, and it was a line drive kick that was knocked down by the man in front, and then he had to field it. He bobbled it, fielded it, and was able to get up and get some positive yards. Honestly, for them, starting on the 23-yard line feels like a victory after that kickoff return. 1st and 10 from their own 23. It will be the sophomore quarterback, Colt Ward. We'll take a look at Defiance's offense here in just a second. Ward, out of that dual pistol formation, he's got running backs flanked on both sides. Kelton Gibbs, who had a man-sized game, over 200 yards last week, gets the call here, lowers the shoulder, and he'll pick up a short gain. Again, Gibbs and Chase Camaso, their numbers are very, very similar. Coming into tonight, Gibbs 57 carries for 593 yards and a touchdown. Camaso 64 hauls for 478 yards and 8 touchdowns. Camaso was kind of the beneficiary of a lot of Gibbs setups last week. He was. Gibbs pounded the ball down the field, got some great plays, and then Camaso was able to punch it in for some touchdowns.
It's kind of the Butch Cassidy Sundance Kid combo back there. One's a bit more of a bruiser, one's a bit more fleet-footed. As Ward rolling out on the near side, he's going to tuck it away and run. Tries to go north-south and pick up some yards. He'll be brought down just shy of the 30-yard line. That'll be a short gain of about 3. It will bring up 3rd down.
Interesting, I only see one receiver down the field, so I kind of think maybe that was intended to be a run by the quarterback in the first place. I don't know if somebody was in the flat there, but only one receiver downfield makes you think they weren't really intending on throwing much of a pass.
Normally, you'd say passing down, but given Kelton Gibbs' propensity to carry 1, 2, sometimes more defenders with him, I wouldn't be surprised to see number 32 get the call here, would you?
No, not at all.
Camaso flanking Ward to the left. Gibbs to the right, ball on the near hash. Strong side to the right as they send a man in motion. And we've got our first penalty of the ball game. I believe we're going to have a false start. And we will. So from 3rd and 3 to now 3rd and 8. What were you saying about getting behind the chains?
You cannot fall behind like this. 3rd and 8 is not manageable. Like you said, Kelton has been able to carry guys. 3rd and 3 is you can run the ball, you can pass the ball, you can do almost anything you want and potentially get the first down. 3rd and 8, now we're back to we might just have to pass it.
And as we speak, Gibbs will be in the slot to the far side. We've got twins to the near side. Camaso, the lone back, out of the pistol. They're bringing pressure. Defiance picks it up. Ward has time. Checks down. We've got a late flag. He's going to tuck it away and run down the near side. He's pushed out of bounds just past the 30-yard line, but my guess is we're going to have offensive holding.
Looked like a hold on the left tackle.
Let's wait and see. And holding indeed will be the call. My guess is Shawnee will decline it. They want the punt and the ball back. Well, again, he had time, probably about a good 3, maybe even 3.5 seconds, but there's where the coverage for Shawnee was a little bit better.
It was fantastic, actually. There were 5 receivers downfield, and it seemed like every one of them was covered. And so he did not have a lot of options. He was able to run the ball again and get some positive yards. It looks like Shawnee is going to accept the penalty.
They are going to accept the penalty, all right. Interesting. Back them up, really within the shadow of their own goalpost now as the line of scrimmage will be marked off inside the 10. It will bring up 3rd down and 18. Check that, not inside the 10, inside the 15. nose of the ball resting at the 15, so we'll say the 15. How's that?
Yes.
I'm not into, I'm an old school math. Look, I sucked at math, I'll be honest. So we're not going to get into the metric system just yet. We're still sticking with yards, and we'll say the nose is on the 15. 3rd and a country mile, as my grandfather used to say. And they're going to hand off. Gibbs. Look out. He's got some room, and he's got a block right in front of him. The 30, the 35, the 40, down the far sideline. Kelton Gibbs, what was probably designed just to give their punter a little bit of breathing room, ends up being the biggest play so far of the night, and it moves the chain.
And what a wall. The left tackle there got himself on the outside and was able to stick his butt out there, so he was able to block that. And there was a nice wall, a nice lane for Kelton to run through. He wasn't touched for 20 yards.
Huge gain, 30 yards on the carry, and a first down. This will be the 4th play of the drive. Kelton Gibbs puts them out at their own 44-yard line. He'll get the call straight up the gut check, but that's Camaso. Spins out of one man's tackle. One man to beat. A touchdown-saving tackle made by number 10. Check that. I think that was number 0, Isaac Meeks, the linebacker.
Boy, he saved a TD right there. That could have been 6 points on the board. And again, man, the offensive line of Defiance is just brutalizing the defensive line of the Shawnee Indians. That was a big hole.
Those big eaters up front in blue and silver. Your tight end, Matthew Walter, 6'2", 200 pounds. Tyler Doden-Kiesling, 6'3", 245 at tackle. Chris Bowling, 5'9", $190. Jack Hines at 5'11", 260. Alex Hinojosa, 6'2", 255. And Jackson Becker, 6'4", 255. As Ward swings, and that was an all-or-nothing play by the defensive back trying to jump the route. Defiance, it gets there on time to Jordan Wright, and that'll be a pickup of about 8, maybe 9 yards.
And a great pass right there by the quarterback, Colt Ward. And way to get the ball out fast. Way to do some of these short passes, get some confidence, get some yards, keep the ball moving. Again, though, there was almost a play on that, which could have been a pick 6. So we got to be careful. Don't turn that ball over.
Well, that pass went to the far boundary, and that's a lot of ground to have to cover. And that's just laterally, not down the field. But it got there in time. And from 3rd and 18, it's now 2nd and 2 from the 32. Ward hands off. It's a counter. Gibbs looking for a little bit of daylight. Lowers the shoulder. He'll pick up 3, first down.
Gibbs on the carry for a gain of 3, first down, Bulldogs.
Boy, what a difference one snap of the football has made so far in this ball game.
And again, we really have to like the energy the Defiance has come out to play with.
Yep.
You had question marks whether they were going to be, excited about the game or whether last week's game was going to drag them down a little bit. But they came to play today.
You've got an ounce of pride in you. You want to win, especially on your home turf. Line of scrimmage of the 28, 1st and 10. Ward with, it looks like Camaso offset to his left. Strong side to the right. They're going to run it that way. He's got a little bit of daylight, but they feather him out. He lowers the shoulder, and that's a heads-up play to just try and make something out of nothing as the cornerback, Colton Hobson, really strung that play out, and I'm not sure that he picked up anything.
Looked like number 21 there had a nice block in the backfield, Will Horvath, to help him not get a tackle for loss, because that could have been a loss of 2 or 3 yards there as the defensive end looked like he had penetration. But a block stopped it, and he was able to get a positive 3 yards.
This will be the 8th play of the drive. They're going to give him a gain of a short 2. The line of scrimmage at the 26. Ball rests on the near hash. Strong side to the right. Ward surveying the defense. They're bringing pressure. He's going to sling this one into the far flat. Wright's got it. Makes one man miss. Still going. Did he lose the football? It is on the field, and it looks like the 2nd and 3rd effort might have paid dividends this time for Shawnee as the ball came out. Wright grabbing his face mask, and it looks like the Indians have recovered the fumble.
Indians have recovered.
Wow. Well, you can't fault the extra effort, but ball security has made problems, let's just say, for Defiance in each of the last 2 weeks. A fumble that led to a score, an interception that led to a score, and now on their opening drive, another fumble.
And that was veteran Jordan Wright, and he knows you got to take care of the ball. You have to. Nothing else more important in this type of play where you're down in the red zone. Got to hold on to the ball.
1st and 10, J.J. Spiker. Deep from their own territory, fires into the flat on a quick out route. It is caught by Reese Davidson. It's his 24th haul on the season. Came into this one with 416 yards and 4 touchdowns. Spiker's numbers, the 5'11", 195-pound senior, was 73 for 122 attempts for 1,004 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, averaging just over 200 passing yards per game. But he also can do it with his legs. 101 carries for 434 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he's averaging 87 yards per game as he will hand this one off the right side. This is going to be Isaac Meeks, the 6'2", 215-pound junior. Not a lot, 38 carries for 127 yards, but again, trying to keep everybody honest, and it's going to move the chains.
Yeah, and that was an excellent carry right there. However, because it feels like Defiance knows you got to make sure you know where J.J. Spiker is at all times. And so this might be an opportunity for Meeks to be able to get some good runs and slip through some holes as they're distracted by this incredible quarterback who 434 yards rushing as a quarterback is unbelievable.
Yep.
It's excellent.
1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line. Going to be a fake handoff on the jet sweep. Spiker tries to get something in between the tackles. There's not much, if anything, there. He just basically bulldozes forward for a very tough 2-yard gain.
Design quarterback run there was absolutely no room. He was able to lean forward and get 2 yards.
So 2nd and 8 from the 34. Clock continues to run.
Quarterback back by himself, 5 wide.
Trips to the near side, twins to the far side. Spiker taking his time with a 2-step drop, bringing pressure off the edge. It's a hot route, and that's just a good job of running what we used to call a quick hook by Reese Davidson. He's going to be a yard shy, though, of the first down. We'll bring up 3rd and 1.
There is plenty of room there because he comes back to the football, and that's exactly the way that you're supposed to do that. He gets down the field, and he came back to football. However, he's got to know where the line of gain is. He's got to know where the first down is as he's a yard short.
Well, 3rd and 1. Playbook could be about as open as Shawnee wants it to be. Spiker under center out of the I formation. Long count. Are you serious they were going to go to a hard count to try and get Defiance to jump on 3rd and 1? Under center, and they're not jumping. Oh, they are. And a free 5. I can't believe that Shawnee just didn't run a play there, but they got Defiance to go ahead and bite and give him the freebie. Another penalty.
So again, for Defiance, I mean, we know this. This is just basic football. You have 3 penalties in the first quarter and a fumble. It's hard to win ball games when you start this far behind.
I don't want to ask how many that makes, but what are we pushing, 20 yards
20
already?
yards.
1st and 10 from their own 46. Spiker under center. The pitch, they're trying the sweep here. Not a lot for Meeks as he barely gets his way back to the first down. That'll be no gain on the play.
What an excellent tackle by Camiso. Of course, that could have been a real positive gain if he doesn't make that play. He's there all by himself. A great open field tackle.
Well, they only run with 3 down linemen, but Doden, Kiesling, and Hinojosa are man-children. And Matthew Walter is slippery. We saw him shuck a ton of blockers last week and get into the backfield. So that 3-man front can put some pressure on. And then, of course, those linebackers have been pretty free, led by Kelton Gibbs to leverage the football. Spiker rolling out, far side, getting all kinds of pressure. Fires behind him. That's technically a lateral, but it's going to end up being a big loss of about 5 on the play.
Boy, as a coach, you do not want to see that. Do not be so irresponsible with the ball. He chucked that over. That could have been a disaster. That could have been a mess. It was a loss of yards, but it could have been a turnover.
A loss of about 5 on the play, even though it was completed. But again, there's no sin, I would even say, in taking the sack there, much less just throwing the ball away. But 3rd and 15, now from the 41-yard line. This will be the 7th play of the drive. Empty backfield. Spiker looking to his left, fires. He's got a man on a seam connected at the 45, makes one man miss. 2, 3, high steps out of another tackle as he's inside the 30, down to about the 20, we'll call it 6, maybe 7-yard line.
Well, I felt like he was way too open right there in the middle. It seemed like they were almost playing a prevent defense where they were way back off thinking that he was going to gun it deep, and all he ran was a 15-yard in route, was able to catch the ball and get a lot more yards after contact. He broke several tackles there, which kudos to him. Defiance is usually really good open field, especially with their DBs.
32 yards on the completion, make it 1st and 10 now from the Defiance 26. This will be the 7th play of the drive. Mesh play, almost fumbled, and somehow Spiker kept it. They have dodged 2, actually 3 bullets on this offensive drive, and yet the ball has bounced their way.
Boy, and it sure feels like Defiance, having them 3rd and 15 back here. Just again, you can't give up a play like that, and Shawnee is not playing great football. They're getting a lot of penetration up. Defiance is. They're going to make 1 or 2 plays here if they just keep going.
Well, right now, I've got Meeks with 3 carries for 6 yards, and all 6 have come on 1 of those carries. Nothing on the other 2. And actually, they're going to say a loss of 2 on that, make it 2nd down and 12. Faking the jet sweep. Spiker tries to go in between the tackles, and nothing there. Let's see who's getting off the bottom of that pile. That is number 45.
For no gain.
That is Abel Paxton, the middle linebacker, doing a good job of gap control.
Very good. Looks like they're replacing some DBs out there. They expect a throw again here from the Lima Shawnee Indians. These guys have, his passes have been really, really nice. But the receivers are very open, so we've got to be able to make a play on defense.
Part of it is that soft underbelly. The linebackers are playing deep, and give Shawnee's receivers credit. They're taking advantage of it.
Well, and they're finding the hole. That's what you have to do.
So on the 28-yard line, it is 3rd down. Spiker straight drop. He's got time. He's going to fire to the far corner and leads his receiver just a little bit too much, as that pass was incomplete.
Intended for Bullet.
This feels like a zone where you have to go for it. You're not going to really punt the ball. You can't make a field goal. But 4th and 11 is a challenge, and again, it can just be like a turnover here.
So 3rd and long, 12 yards to go at the 28-yard line. Actually 4th, excuse me. I inadvertently said 3rd. This is 4th. They're bringing a delayed blitz. This is going to be a timing route to the corner, and diving catch. Is he down with it? Waiting for an official signal, and well, I didn't see anybody raise their arms, but they're celebrating a touchdown. So, all right.
Touchdown, Indians.
Ball hauled in for touchdown, and that was just put some air underneath it and let your receiver run underneath it.
They've been throwing those underneath routes time and again here just shortly, and then they went deep. They got the guys sucking in. They pulled forward. They threw it over their heads. Seemed like an easy pass catch for a touchdown, although a great catch.
Yep, that was Dalton Thompson with the catch. As this might have been partially blocked, it is shanked off to the right. And my apologies, folks. Where we're sitting in the press box, we do have to basically crane our necks around a couple of support posts. So I'm assuming that the officials did give the touchdown signal. We just got screened out up here.
The one official that we could see did not give the signal,
No.
and the other one was being blocked, and apparently he gave the signal.
Well, it's kind of like I've been told when you go out for dinner with Jeff Tackett and you act like the tab isn't on the table.
Oh.
And then Jeff does the same thing. It's like, wait a minute, where is it? Is there truth to that rumor or not?
I'm sure there is. I bet I always end up paying is the way it's going to work.
Oh, that is a West Banco touchdown, building a better bank every day since 1870. Community focused. Find out more at westbanco.com. So a 28-yard touchdown reception, hauled in by Dalton Hobson.
The missed extra point will help Defiance
Yep.
here. They need to march down the field and make sure that this game doesn't get away from them. They looked very good on the opening drive, some great plays. They need to keep their heads down and keep it rolling. They need to maintain that energy. Those are the types of situations where they're ahead as far as field position, and at 3rd down and 15, they can take the gas out of you. Defiance needs to rally, make sure that they maintain the momentum.
Now, by my stat sheet here, that was a 9-play drive that started at their own 19. And with 49 ticks left to go in the first quarter, a short squib kick picked up by Camaso, and a beautiful return out past the 35, close to the 40-yard line.
You thought there he had a chance to run that one back. There was only one Shawnee Indian waiting there to make that tackle. That could have been a big play for Defiance.
It's kind of been the story of the season so far for Defiance, hasn't it? Almost. Let's see what they can get done on their second offensive series here. They converted a huge 3rd and long. They got deep into Shawnee territory, and then Jordan Wright with a fumble on a quick out, trying to pick up extra yards. With 43 and 4/10 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Handoff goes to Gibbs, left side, lowers the shoulder. There's nothing special about that play. It's, okay, I'm taking on anybody and everybody that wants to try and get in my way.
Shawnee had him stopped down at 1 yard gain, and he was able to get 4 more yards for a positive 5-yard gain.
And officially, I've got him for 3 carries for 39 yards. Barring a penalty, this will be the last play of the first quarter.
You wonder
provided
about
they get it off.
Yeah.
This is going to be close. Ward taking his time. 8 seconds, 7, and a flag. And I think we may have had a false start, or did they take too much time? Waiting for the white hat to give us the signal. Sir?
Sideline warning on Defiance.
Oh, wow. So with 6 seconds left. You know what, though? In that case, it looked like the play had been blown up. I think that actually pays dividends for Defiance. And I don't know if they're going to be in any rush to get another one off before the end of the quarter. They are not. Whistle sounds. First quarter in the books. A play that was and a play that wasn't has made the difference so far in this ball game. Shawnee 6, Defiance nothing. They'll switch ends of the field. Back with more right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
At Arthur Law Firm, we understand how overwhelming life can be after being seriously injured in a car accident. With over 50 years of experience, Arthur Law Firm has a track record of getting the results you deserve. When you don't know where to turn, get answers with Arthur. Call us today.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Superior Credit Union, a not-for-profit, member-owned financial cooperative. Visit superiorcu.com to find out more about joining the winning team at Superior Credit Union.
Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Stadium Drive in Defiance and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com.
Back at Fred Brown Stadium, first play of the second quarter. Shawnee leading Defiance 6-0. It was 2nd down and 5 from their own 45, and Kelton Gibbs picks up 11 yards to move the ball. 1st and 10 now inside Shawnee territory.
Another excellent run, another excellent wall set by the offensive line. And honestly, if the D-back of Shawnee doesn't make that play, that's 6 points for Defiance.
Third play of the drive. Ward 2-step drop. He looks right, nothing doing. The receivers have got to move. They're blocking right now, and Ward's going to take off and gets maybe inside the 40. We'll see if they ran him out of bounds at the 40 or the 39. I'm going to guess that was a designed quarterback run because both receivers on the near side, Andy, were blocking.
They started blocking early, and it felt like he had plenty of time there. If they do want to throw the ball. The offensive line of Defiance has been able to hold or keep Shawnee back.
So 1st and 10 from the Indian 39. Defiance was down a little bit farther into Indian territory on their first offensive series of the ball game, but a fumble turned it over, and Shawnee took advantage of it, scoring on the ensuing offensive drive. Ward, design quarterback keeper. Off the left side, upended. That's going to be the toughest yard he gets all night.
Ward keeps the ball.
Seems interesting that they changed their game plan from last week. Ward has had at least several more passing opportunities, and he's ran the ball. I think that was his third rush for the game, instead of handing the ball off to Comiso and Gibbs like they did last week, which was very effective. They didn't win the ball game, but it was very effective.
Part of the problem was they fell behind, and so it makes a difference when you want to run versus when you have to pass. And in talking with Coach Ripnauer, he kind of teased about it in his pregame interview, but they're trying to cut the field in half for Colt Ward. They don't want him to have to read everything. Quite often it's going to be a hot receiver or what they call a partial field read, as this is a slam up the middle. Gibbs backpedals out of one man, and it's a foot race to the end zone. He's inside the 10, the 5, high steps out of a tackle. Hey, North Bulldogs!
Boy, what an excellent hole and an excellent run. Right up there was just a quick dive, right up the gap. They had a great wall for him, and he was able to get clear. There was one guy there. He tried to make a little shoestring tackle, was not able to do it. Quick 6 for Defiance. Excellent run. We talked about them changing that game plan. They went right back to it and scored a touchdown.
Play that was designed to just pick up a few yards and maybe move the chains, and next thing you know, everybody's looking at the backside of number 32, and he high steps into the end zone. Burris on to attempt the point after to give Defiance the lead. Snap is down, kick is up, Clooney on it, and it is good. And at the 9:39 mark, Defiance fans with something to put their hands together for. A 6-play drive starting at their own 40. Result, a West Banco touchdown. Building a better bank every day since 1870. Community focused. Find out more at westbanco.com. We'll take a quick timeout. Back with more from Fred Brown Stadium. You're watching DCTV Sports.
West Banco, building a better bank every day since 1870. Community focused West Banco. Find out more at westbanco.com.
There you get a good look at the sidelines for Defiance. A little bit more energy in those blue and silver uniforms as they take their first lead of the game, 7-6 over Shawnee.
Now let's see if Defiance can stop Shawnee. They had him back several times, and hopefully they can make a big play here, get the ball. They're ahead 7-6, though. This is great news for Defiance so that they can continue to play the ball. They have been doing more creative plays on offense, where it's been some pass plays, it's been some quarterback rushes, not just pound the ball, and you wonder if that's kind of got Shawnee on its heels.
Standing deep. Trying to get my roster out from behind a cubic ton of paperwork I've got in front of us. Jaron Bagley standing deep alongside Chase Howard for the Indians. Line drive kick, and it's going to go out of bounds, and that was a heads-up move by Howard to let it go, and that will be a penalty. And in effect, bring it out. Now trailing 7-6 with 9:39 left to go in the first half. Ball rests at the 35.
Again, another mistake by Defiance, and they are 4-0 penalties on the game and 1-0 turnovers on the game. It's hard to believe that they're actually ahead during this game, because those are stats that you look at and you're thinking, no way.
So what's that total yardage for penalties for Defiance right now that you have?
Well, they have 20 yards on their regular penalties, and then the kick
15.
out of bounds adds to the 35-yard line.
Well, Service Master by McCann brings you the penalties. When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let Service Master restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to complete overhaul and rebuilding, contact Service Master by McCann.
Wow, there is just no room up the middle for Shawnee, as Defiance's defensive line is just overpowering their offensive line.
And this is a three-man front, too. That tells you what those guys are doing. It's one thing if you see a three-man front and you pinch up an outside linebacker like we've seen Kelton Gibbs. With those three down linemen, to just kind of soak up linemen and keep the linebackers free to leverage the ball. These guys, Dogan Kiesling, Hinojosa, Walter, are getting in the backfield.
They're making major penetration on these guys, and they're really rushing this very good quarterback and throwing the ball.
2nd down and 10. No gain on that first play. Trips to the far side, lone receiver to the near side. Spiker barking out the signals. Fakes the handoff, straight drop, getting some pressure, and almost intercepted. Still batted up. Oh my goodness, talk about pinball. Doden Kiesling almost had it, not once, not twice. Paxton almost had it as he laid out. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Such an interesting how those defensive linemen were right in position to make that play. It was almost like they knew that it was a quick screen to the left.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 10.
We have an injured Indian on the field.
We also have Laundry in between the hash marks. Holding is going to be the call against the Indians. So the question is, does Defiance want the penalty or do they want to decline it and keep it at 3rd and 10? And right now we're trying to get a number on the injured Shawnee player. He's being surrounded by coaches and medical staff. Everybody catching a little bit of a breather here, and hopefully he's going to be okay. He appears to be conscious and is talking. He's got his knees up, so that's usually a good sign. Well, Andy, what jumps out at you here through the early going? We still have a little over 9 minutes left to go in this first half.
Well, again, Defiance didn't panic. They were stuck with what worked. They were able to score the touchdown. These are the situations, though. They've been in a situation like this twice already. It's 2nd down and 20. This is where Shawnee has been able to make big plays, and Defiance hasn't been able to stop them. So these are the times right here. And Shawnee, they know they don't have to get it all in once. They've got 2 plays here to be able to get that first down. However, Defiance can't play such soft defense, but also the one time they don't play soft defense, they got burnt deep for the touchdown.
Well, a good sign as sitting up and now getting to his feet. And more than quickly, Isaac Meeks gets a round of applause from the fans as he will head to the sidelines. Or will he stay in? He's got to come out, right, for at least one snap?
He does.
Yep. So Defiance elected to take the penalty and make it 2nd and 20 instead of 3rd down and 10.
Boy, and you hope Isaac is healthy. He is their leading tackler on defense and their leading rusher outside of their quarterback on offense. Very important for him to be on the field.
So everybody getting reset on the field. Now Gibbs is pinching up on the edge with those 3 down linemen. I'll be curious to see if he's blitzing. And he's going to feather it out. They're going to fire, and on a wheel route, boy, that was just beautifully executed as he hits his tight end, Chase DePalma, and that was the man that Gibbs was trying to shuck. And that was a great job of DePalma, just brush blocked and then released.
Again, it looked like Gibbs was lined up on him. It seems like he should have got his hands on him early at the line of scrimmage. Because of that free release, he was able to find that gap. And what a beautiful pass.
It really was.
He just floated it right where he needed to in the perfect zone for him to make that play on the run and to be able to get the first down. Again, 20 yards to get the first down, and they were able to do it.
1st and 10 from their own 45. Handoff to Hobson, and he is upended, you-know-what, over Appetite in the backfield. Holy cow, 3 blue jerseys all converging on the ball carrier at almost the same time.
I mean, it looked like the offensive line took the play off. They decided, hey, we don't want to play this one. We're going to take a quick break, as it seemed like the entire defensive line of Defiance was in the backfield to make that tackle. And, of course, Alex Anahosa, he's done a phenomenal job both on the offensive line and defensive line, and what incredible penetration right there.
This will be the 6th play of the drive, make it 2nd and 15 from the 40. Trips to the far side. Spiker surveying the defense. Getting a little bit of pressure. Long throw to the far boundary. It is complete to Bagley, and he is slippery. Still not brought down yet as he backpedals his way inside the 45 down to about the 43-yard line.
Boy, he was able to turn his back to the defense and just push with all of his might there to get an extra 5 yards. But Defiance, there was some excellent downfield blocking by that offense and their receivers. It's wonderful to see a team that likes to throw the ball where the wide receivers won't be selfish. They know that they have to block sometimes to get big plays, and they're willing to do their job. Great job, Shawnee.
1st and 10 from the 42. Shawnee methodical on this drive as we're now under 7.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Trailing 7-6. Delayed handoff and skirting to the outside, but not enough. Dalton Hobson will have to be satisfied with a gain of a short 2.
Abel Paxton made a really nice tackle there because it seemed like at first there was no yards to be gained. Then it looked like a little hole opened up, but Abel Paxton was able to fill it so that they were only able to get 2 yards.
They haven't gained much on the ground this evening, but when they have, it's come in big chunks. 4 yards, 7 yards, -5 yards, then 32 yards, incomplete, then 20 yards. It's been feast or famine offensively through the air, at least in the early going for the Indians. As it's 2nd down and 8, firing to the near side. Did we have early contacts? The officials did not think so. And heads-up play, nicely done on the timing of it by T.J. Burris, incomplete.
Looked like that catch was almost, or that pass was almost uncatchable as well. You wonder if that had to play a little bit in the ref's decision there.
Burris with his 4th pass breakup of the season stops the clock. 3rd and 8 from the Bulldog 40. 6:42 left to go in the first half. It's been a defensive-oriented ball game. You've got to figure, well, I won't say got to figure the Indians are in 4-down territory, but man, they're close if they aren't. Spiker straight drop. Going to sling this one, and again a seam caught, making one man miss, making a second man miss, and that's just too good by Brady Bullock.
Again, way to find the hole right there between the safety and the linebacker. Perfect gap, and then a perfect pass right over top of the linebacker into his receiver's hands. They are doing very well at just precision passing here against the Bulldogs.
29 yards on the catch, and they are inside the Stambaugh Jewelers red zone. 1st and 10 from the 12. Spiker dropped back. It's a design quarterback draw as he stumbles forward inside the 10 down to, looks like, the 7-yard line. Pickup of about 5.
You think here this might be the opportunity for Defiance as the field has been shortened. They're able to pull guys up on the line. The passing game changes here in the red zone because you don't have those big, long, extended passes that you're able to make. So hopefully Defiance can get up on the line, get some penetration, and make a stop here in the red zone.
The field shortens inside the red zone. The question is, what do you have designed according to your team's strengths? And we'll see what the Indians have in store here on 2nd and 6 from the 8. They can pick up the first down without a touchdown. Spiker rolling out, fires and deflected at the last second. Well done, and that looks like Anton Hegler, the corner, with his 2nd pass breakup of the season.
That was an excellent play. It looked like he had to go through a wide receiver that was trying to block him to be able to make that play.
3rd down and 6.
So 3rd and 6 with the ball on the 8. Well, you got to figure a passing down here again. Twins to the far side, trips to the near side. Gibbs is on the tight end to Palma, who's actually in the slot, and they're going to blitz him. He's picked up the middle, and high-stepping into the end zone, J.J. Spiker with an 8-yard scamper. He finds pay dirt as the Indians retake the lead.
Boy, it seemed like Defiance wanted to get him back, and so they brought everybody in, and there was a gap there that he was able to run through. Looked like the DBs were playing man defense. By the time they knew that there was a rush, it was already too late. Touchdown was scored.
On for the point after. This will be, I believe, Bagley, trying to get a number on the young man. He was listed as the kicker on their depth chart. I can't tell from where we're standing. Kick is up. It squirts. No, it does not.
Good.
He pushed it. So 0 for 2 on point after attempts, and a little bit of a silver lining here for Defiance. Still plenty of time left to go in the first half, trailing 12-7 after a 12-play drive.
With 5:15 left, there's no reason to hurry. They can stick with their game plan, run the ball, maybe throw a couple passes in there, keep the Shawnee Indians defense on its heels. Just get down, go in with a score so that you can be up by 2 at halftime.
We'll take a quick timeout. Back with the remainder of the half right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports. 12-play, 65-yard drive capped off by an 8-yard touchdown scamper by quarterback J.J. Spiker for Shawnee. And they have retaken the lead here at Fred Brown Stadium, 12-7 over host Defiance. As Wright and trying to get the number.
T.J. Burris.
It's Burris standing back at their own 5 as they await the kickoff. It's going to be a low line drive kick. Comiso will let it bounce. This is a live ball. Somebody's got to pick it up. Burris has it. Past the 10, the 15, and second, maybe third effort's going to get him out to the 20.
So that's 3 kickoffs by Shawnee where they have been basically squib kicks.
Yep.
You wonder if that's part of their game plan to keep the ball out of the hands of Jordan Wright, who could return one. Maybe they've had that struggle in the past couple of weeks, but it seems like it has to be kind of on purpose at this point with 3 of those kicks on the ground.
I tell you what, you think you got a piece of candy, and then all of a sudden you look up and it's squirting past Comiso, and Burris is like, I thought you had it. Somebody's got to be a bit more communicative back there.
And again, it feels like they're lucky to be starting on the 20-yard line because that could have been another play.
It could have been
tackled
worse.
on the 5 or 8 or 9-yard line.
Could have been worse, but all things considered, with 5:09 left to go in the half, standard field position for the Bulldogs is right in motion. Instead, it's going to be a counter. Gibbs hit once, hit twice. No, check that. That's Comiso. And he is stood up. And that is a lot of physicality for a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8.
Have to be excited about Defiance's running backs who are just unwilling to go to the ground. They will fight hard.
Gibbs is a senior. Comiso is a junior. We've talked about this last week, Andy. 2 very different running styles, but we saw a little bit more physical from Comiso right there.
Yeah, and he's an excellent running back. He doesn't quite run as hard. However, he's not quite as big as Gibbs either.
Exactly. 2nd and 8. Up the gut, Comiso, boy, he got stacked up early. And, boy, he was a little slow to get up. And I think what we're seeing, at least on those last 2 snaps now, is that Shawnee is selling out in between the tackles. They are. You talked about gap control during the pregame. Well, they've done a good job of it on those last 2 snaps, and now we got a timeout.
Yeah, it looks like they are bringing some of their linebackers up close to that line. They want to make sure that Defiance does not beat them in the middle. Of course, that last drive with the big play by Kelton, they were able to form a big wall. They were able to push that defensive line of the Shawnee Indians around. One way to stop that is just get some extra bodies in there.
Well, this becomes interesting because you're deep in your own territory. On 3rd and 7, you would think pass, but at the same time, if it's incomplete, it stops the clock and gives Shawnee the ball back in good field position with plenty of time. We'll see what Coach Ritt decides to run. It's going to be a sweep. Gibbs trying to turn the near corner. He's got some room. Hardles one man, makes another man miss. Still on his feet as he scampers out past the 45-yard line.
Boy, it feels like you got to give the entire offensive line some credit right there, but particularly the left side that was able to seal the deal. And then having the open field blocking from Jordan Wright right there to be able to make sure that nobody gets past. I mean, what an excellent job by the entire team to make sure that they get that first down.
25 yards on the carry, and it looked like he had been bottled up as he was skirting the line of scrimmage. He doesn't need a ton of daylight. He runs to it, and it's 1st and 10 from their own 48. Under 4 minutes left to go. Shawnee coming with a blitz. Defiance picks it up. Gibbs squirts through a hole. Makes the official miss, and he's off to the races. Hurdles out of one man. Down to the 10-yard line. 42 yards. Number 32, we see you.
What an excellent run. And again, the offensive line made a great hole for him. He wasn't touched until he reached the backfield. And the last thing you want as a Shawnee Indian is for your DBs to have to bring down a beast like Kelton Gibbs.
Whew. Andy losing his breath there.
What a play.
Tremendous run, and all of a sudden it's 1st and goal from the 10. Handoff off the left side. Ooh, stuck high, hit low. Almost bent backwards. Gibbs hops up, but man, he paid the price on that one.
Kind of seems fair this week, as last week he did that a handful of times, and then Comiso was able to score the touchdown.
Yeah. 5th play of the drive. It's 2nd and goal from the 9. We're now under the 3-minute mark. Comiso, the lone back. Right wide to the near side. Camaso spins out of one tackle, heads in between the hash marks, diving, and he's going to be just shy of the end zone down to about the 2-yard line.
Wow, he made something out of nothing right there, as there was a Shawnee Indian right there in his face in the backfield. What an amazing spin, and then he just turned on the Jets. That burst was incredible to get him that extra 6 yards.
3rd and goal from the 3. 6th play of the drive. They want it in the end zone, and in comes big number 32. Ward under center. You run an ISO here behind Gibbs? We're about to find out. Ward barking out the signals. It's going to be Gibbs. Hurdles. Takes a man into the end zone with him. Hater Bulldogs!
Boy, that was just Defiance overloading the right side with 2 guys to block in front of Kelton, and they just said, hey, Shawnee, we don't think you can take us down. We think we're bigger, we think we're stronger, and we're going to dominate right here on this right side. And sure enough, they did.
Well, that's what my old coach used to call the manhood measuring contest. And Defiance passes. The point after still to be attempted here by Burris. As they're back on top by 1, trying to make it 2. Snap down. Kick is up, and it is good. And at the 2:04 mark, another West Banco touchdown. Building a better bank every day since 1870. Community focused. Find out more at westbanco.com. 2 minutes and 4 seconds left to go in the first half. Defiance 14, Shawnee 12. We'll take a quick timeout. Back with more on DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
Back at Fred Brown Stadium, home of the Bulldogs. Defiance trying to get back on the winning track this evening and hand Shawnee their first loss in the Western Buckeye League. And right now, this couldn't have been scripted much better, minus the turnover on their first offensive series, if you're Coach Ritt and company.
Yeah, Defiance has to be happy with what they're doing. They have lost the turnover battle so far in this half. They have also lost the penalty battle so far in this half. And to be ahead 14-12 is very, very good for Defiance. However, 2 minutes and 4 seconds is plenty of time for J.J. Spiker to lead this team down the field.
Begley and Whitaker set to receive.
Begley and Whitaker both standing deep for the Indians. They really haven't had much of an opportunity tonight. Burris, he puts a boot into that one and fielded at the 5. This is going to be down the near side, trying to get behind his wedge. That's Chase Howard. And that's a decent return out to about the 27-yard line.
What an excellent kick right there.
Stop. Was by a quarterback for the Bulldogs.
All right, so you got time. You got timeouts. I guess how aggressive do you want to be if you're Shawnee?
I don't think you do anything crazy here. However, you know where your strengths lie. You're not going to get much in that with that defensive line there, so you know, let's roll out like we've been doing. Let's get some quick pass plays and maybe suck the DBs up and be able to throw one deep.
Spiker with Meeks offset to his right, trips to the far side. Plenty of time, continues to look to his left, fires across the middle, and again, they are just doing a great job of finding seams, and now yards after the catch, and look out. Off to the races, and nobody's gonna catch him.
There is a flag on the play. We are waiting to see exactly what happens here.
Bagley with the catch. We'll wait and see what the penalty is, and this becomes critical. Holding against Shawnee. They'll call it back.
Finally, it feels like a break for the Defiance Bulldogs as everything has seemed to roll the opposite direction the last couple of weeks when it comes to penalties or when it comes to turnovers. We needed that play. Thank God it was there.
So negate the 72-yard touchdown reception by Bagley. And instead of kicking to be up by 6. It's going to be 1st and 20 all the way back at their own 18.
Boy, and it felt like the DBs were in really good position right there to make a play, at least make a tackle. But the wide receiver for the Shawnee Indians was able to break that, but it just didn't matter because you can't hold up front.
Hobson in motion to the far side. Spiker rolling out that way. Fires with his body, and it's going to be complete, but not much of a gain.
Spiker pass complete. Small gain.
Trying to get a number. Is that Hobson or Meeks? His number's bunched up, but I believe it's Hobson, number 2.
Defended by Gibbs.
Seems like Defiance is doing a better job, especially with their DBs, to be in position. They're allowing their 3 guys just to rush by themselves, and they are getting penetration. They're dropping all these guys back to make sure that there's not the big play like we saw before the penalty.
So 2nd and 19 from the 19. Spiker straight drop. Going to fire underneath. He's got his man. Great open field tackle. Bringing down Meeks and trying to get a number. Is that Comiso? Yes, it was. Number 10. Chase Comiso with a tremendous open field tackle.
Boy, and the way he broke on that pass, that was excellent right there to make that play. Because, of course, we know this. If he doesn't make that tackle, he's not going to be touched for another 5 or 6 yards. They are 3rd and almost 20 here. So, again, they've done this in the past 2 times, and they've been able to get the first down. Defiance needs to get the Shawnee Indians off the field.
Whistle sounds, flags flying.
Offsides, Defiance.
I'm trying to think of the term to use. I know if Coach Ritt were up here, I know he doesn't have a lot of hair left, but he'd probably be pulling out what's little left. Discipline. You just got to hold your mud and not bite when the quarterback changes the inflection on a hard count.
And there's just no excuse. You are able to watch the ball, keep your eyes on it, make sure it doesn't move before you do. These guys, though, they've been getting penetration, and they're just trying to jump the gun so that they can get in the backfield. This is a sack opportunity, and they know it.
3rd and 13. Spiker straight drop. Pocket stays clean. Flushed out near side, looking downfield. He's got all kinds of time. He's going to fire and tipped. Wright's got it. Intercepted at the 40. Down the near sideline, and he'll go out of bounds at about the 48. We have a very late hit. I don't see a flag being thrown.
There is a flag on the field in the center by the
back at the 50. We'll wait and see if we had a late hit or maybe a clip or an illegal block on the return, because that came about almost 10 yards farther up the field. But great concentration by Jay Wright on the tip drill. And now we'll wait for the officials to sort things out.
Boy, that was an excellent play. Way to extend the play by J.J. Spiker. He actually threw that across his body towards the center of the field as he was rolling out to the right. He was able to hit a receiver. The ball got tipped up, was intercepted by Defiance. He did a phenomenal job right there. It seemed like they could have gotten that first down.
Well, waiting for an official signal here, and oh, it's going to go against Shawnee. Personal foul. So this is going to be tacked on after the run, it looks like, and this is really going to set up Defiance with some excellent field position with 40 seconds left to go in the half.
They have all of their timeouts, so they are able to run the ball a couple of times if they want to. They do not have to throw here because they can use those timeouts before the half.
Ball will be spotted at the Shawnee 35-yard line. And timeout being called. Both teams wanting to make sure they get exactly on the same page with 40 ticks left to go in the half. I'm not quite so sure. If you would have told me that we would have seen a defensive ball game between these two prior to kickoff, I would have said sure, but what does defensive mean? 28-21, 30-24. We've got a defensive ball game here at 14-12.
Yes, and it feels like Defiance can go in and score again. And if they go ahead at halftime by 2 scores, that really benefits them because, again, you want to make the Indians one-dimensional so that big defensive line of Defiance can get some penetration and hopefully get some sacks.
All right, so with the short side of the field to the near side, the question is, what do you have that can get you hopefully maybe 7 to 10 yards here? Lone back, Camaso hit in the backfield. They're selling out, and he's going nowhere. No gain on the play, and the Bulldogs will be forced to burn a timeout. And we've got more laundry on the field.
Stop by the Indians. Correct.
Now let's see who's this one going against. Men in stripes having a conversation at the 35. Somebody? Anybody? Bueller? We'll see what we've got here. Long conversation. I know we mix in a little pop culture with our broadcasts from time to time. That's going back to the 80s, though. You know where that was from, don't you? Well, now the convo is happening on both sidelines here. All right, I have not taken my eyes off of the white hat. Have you seen a signal?
I have not seen anything. I have no idea what is going on. They still have Defiance's timeout on the board because there is a penalty flag. They're trying to figure out exactly what is going on.
Well, it looks like they're going to march this off against Shawnee. So maybe we've got, again, an unsportsmanlike, a late hit. But my goodness, this is 15 yards down to the 20-yard line. How many penalties does that make for Shawnee now?
Shawnee has 3 penalties. 2 of them are 15-yard personal
Wow.
fouls, though. So that's 40 yards. So that almost comes up to Defiance's level. Defiance has, 40 yards. So we're right next to each other.
Well, the Bulldogs still have all 3 of their timeouts left. So normally you might be thinking, what can you do to get down there? You got to pass. Not necessarily the case, but you do need positive yards. And here we go with an empty backfield. I think we maybe had illegal procedure. We had the man in motion break upfield before the ball was snapped, and this is going to back them up. Well, what they taketh, they giveth away. Uh-oh, and we have another flag being thrown on the Defiance sideline here. Oh, boy. Well, we'll wait for the umpire to give us the signal there. We're zoned in on him. I believe the first flag is going to be basically an illegal procedure. We had a receiver come out of his motion before the snap.
First stop was for illegal procedure.
Back to the 40, and then we have something against the Defiance sideline here.
Penalty also on Defiance.
Oh, that's just a killer. Look, one was bad enough, but the second completely changed.
Boy, there was barely a play to even be had there. So you're wondering exactly, because the whistle blew, dead ball foul. What was the personal foul?
Ward with time, slings it
he's got a
deep.
guy
He's
open.
got right. It's one-on-one. Lays out. Cannot come up with it. The pass came on the inside shoulder. The defensive back was running stride for stride with Jordan Wright. That was number 4. Brady Bullock. He didn't see the ball. Wright made a great adjustment, but just couldn't secure it.
Yeah, it felt like he had a yard step on him. If Colt Ward throws that ball on the outside shoulder, that is a touchdown. However, that is a long pass to make for a sophomore.
So 2nd and 30 from the 40. And more whistles. Did we have lining up in the neutral zone? Do we have offside, a potential infraction on Shawnee? Defiance's players are pointing at the Indian side of the... Yep, offside, lined up in the neutral zone.
Offside, Shawnee. Gain of 5.
Okay, so let's play a game. Who wants more penalties? I mean, literally in the last, 33 seconds?
Boy, and Shawnee is at 45 yards all in the second quarter. And Defiance is at 60 yards of penalties.
So back to the original line of scrimmage at the 35 with 27 and 6/10 seconds left. There's a hot route. Wright's got it out of bounds. That is what Coach Ritt told me they were going to try and do more of to get Colt Ward into a rhythm.
I mean, what an excellent call right there. The DB was 15 yards off of Jordan Wright, able to stop the clock, make the reception, get some positive yards. You have 2 plays here before you turn the ball over. You only got 23 seconds. You don't have to go for it all.
Pickup of about 7. This will be the 4th play of the drive. And we've got a timeout. Helter skelter in the final 90 seconds of the first half. It's 3rd and 17 with the ball resting at the Shawnee 27. So here's my question for you, Andy. Do you need all 17 on this snap, or do you just need a good positive gain to open up the playbook? Because you certainly would think this is 4-down territory.
This is 4-down territory. Shawnee Indians do not have enough time to march down the field, so you don't need to get it all at once. Get yourself in that zone where you can at least go for the end zone and the next play. Or, we saw Burris's kicks. His extra points have plenty of distance, and you would get themselves out of that range where a field goal could put them ahead.
Well, right now, if you pick up the ball on the 27, if you pick up, let's just say 7 yards, this would be a 37-yard field goal attempt if Defiance wanted to. He's got plenty of leg. We saw him last week miss his first field goal attempt, and Coach Ritt told me he just had too many nerves. Now I would think maybe those would have settled down a little bit.
Yeah, he's got some experience playing. Also, it's surprising that Shawnee's the one taking the timeouts here instead of Defiance.
So 3rd and 17 from the 27-yard line. We'll see if the Bulldogs can pull a rabbit out of their hat. Twins in the backfield, Gibbs and Camaso. Got to figure one is in at least for pass protection. Nope, they're going to run it. Camaso on a counter. Can he get to the outside? He does, to the near sideline, and out of bounds at the 20, and we've got another flag.
Camaso on the carry.
A healthy gain of 7. He got out of bounds. It comes on the backside, and that's almost always a bad sign for the offense. We'll wait and see. Holding the call against Defiance. Yep. They couldn't have gotten a better result on that play, minus the holding, of course. That was exactly what they needed. And instead, pack them up again. Ball now at the 31.
Boy, and it felt like that hold was behind the play.
It was.
It was very unnecessary to be able to grab a hold of him. The play had already gotten passed. He was already going to get the yards that he was going to get. Get your hands off.
So 3rd and 21. Again, they still have all 3 of their timeouts, so if they elect to pass, they could go over the middle, provided it's complete. Low snap. Ward is going to fire to the end zone. He's got a man, overthrows the intended receiver. Reed Rollison. Basically, it just looked like a fly route down the near sideline. He was open, and Ward wishes he held that ball for about 1 more second.
Boy, he had a step. That was your opportunity right there. Ward has an excellent arm. He was able to throw that. However, he just threw it too deep. What a great read, though, by our young quarterback. He saw that the DB was up on him. He was able to get a free release to the outside because that DB's job was to push him onto the inside towards the safeties. However, Reed was able to get a release to the outside, was able to run that fly route. Should have been, could have been, but it wasn't.
4th and 21 from the 31. They're going to go for it with 13 seconds left to go. And we've got a timeout, I believe, being called by Defiance. Our coaching staff used to call that riding the rail. You don't do anything except sprint. We technically called it a rail route. And I tell you what, Rollison showed some jets, but the timing was off. So here's my question. You now have 2 timeouts. I know you're drawing up something for a score, whether it's on this play or if you pick up 21, you can still burn a timeout. What are you drawing up here if you're Coach Ritt and company?
Boy, it feels like, with 13 seconds left, it feels like you just go for the end zone. You go for the big play. You try and make sure you can have the opportunity to go in at halftime with an extra score. At least that's what it feels like. You don't have to. However, you do have to get past the 10-yard line, which is 20 yards to get yourself first down to get another play. So it feels like you're going deep no matter what, which is surprising here that Shawnee is not playing more of a prevent defense.
They really aren't. They're playing pretty standard here. I'm surprised they don't have at least one man kind of playing center field. So on 4th down, Ward with plenty of time. Flushed out, looking. He's going to let it fly, and it's incomplete. He did have one man in the vicinity, I believe that's Camaso, but when you scramble or flush out to the short side of the field, it almost always means you got to get rid of the ball. There's no other option.
Yeah, especially in a situation like that when you know that you have to get so many yards, you don't want to eliminate half of the field from your play. So for him to have to roll out there, it allows the safeties and the linebackers to head over, which makes it very, very challenging to complete a pass. And in that situation, they weren't able to do it.
So with 6 3/10 seconds left to go in the first half, Shawnee will take it 1st and 10 at their own 31. You would certainly think the Indians will take a knee and, in all honesty, feel themselves fortunate to only be down by 2 going into the locker room.
Yeah, well, Defiance should feel fortunate to be up by 2 after the several penalties and turnovers.
So what you're saying is there should be a lot of fortunate.
A lot of fortunate here.
On the field, yeah. Straight drop, they're going to air it out. Deep, and this one batted down. That will do it for the end of the first half as Grady Duma got a hand on it. Was that 31 or 34?
31, and they called it dead with 0.6 seconds left. So the Shawnee Indians will get another play.
Wow. All right, here you don't risk it, do you? Or do you? I guess I don't know. It depends on what's in your DNA.
I mean, it would be similar to a punt if they intercept it that deep.
True.
You should be able to make the tackle where they can't score. It feels like you go for it. It's a low risk, high reward. However, I mean, it's a very, very low chance of being successful.
Well, they're going to empty out the backfield. Quads to the far side. This is going to be a jailbreak screen. Complete. And this is just going to pad the yards a little bit for Spiker. And who was the receiver there? Is that number 4 or was it number 2? Looks like Dobson.
Number 4.
And that will do it for the first half. So Brady Bullock, the receiver on that one. That will finally bring us to the end of the first half. Defiance 14, Shawnee 12. We will take a quick timeout. We will be back with your halftime show, the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Right after this, you're watching DCTV Sports.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948.
When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let ServiceMaster Restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to complete overhaul and rebuilding. Contact ServiceMaster by McCann.
class of 2026 have provided leadership and strength to the Defiance Band program. We appreciate their time and effort in helping make the band a resounding success these past 4 years. We are also incredibly thankful of the support and encouragement of their parents, who have all made for the success of the band of class. The time commitment as well as the commitment to excellence does not go unnoticed. And while there are still football games, concerts, parades, and community events still ahead for our senior class, we would like to highlight their final marching season by giving them special recognition this evening. We ask them to come forward and be recognized. Piccolos, Mabel Adams, Mia Butler, Sophia Hernandez, and Isabel Janowicki. Clarinets, Vienna Dobson, Levi Gerenser, Ava Tracy, and Mia Vasquez. Alto sax, Sparrow Kern. Tenor saxes, Isaiah Martinez and Isaiah Ramos. Trumpets, Everett Price and Jasmine Rodriguez. Telephone, Cameron Knapp. Trombones, Mackenzie Denny, Aiden Limber, and Caitlin Muncie. Baritone, Liam Armstrong. Tuba, Deja Harrison. Snare, Anna Hasselbring. Quads, George English. Bass drums, Alyssa Heller and Ava Newman. Cymbals, Brendan Casey. Field conductors, Colvin Bachman, Ali Dial, and Damian Malone. And majorettes, Abigail Fleming and Viviana King-Maitu. Please show your appreciation for a job well done to a great group of seniors. And now please rise and join in the singing of the Defiance alma mater as performed by our senior class. Before we close our show, we would like to thank you for your terrific support of the Band of Class. Having you all in the stands and cheering us on during halftime every week makes what our band does all the more special. We hope you will continue to enjoy our performances as much as we enjoy playing for you. As selected by our senior class, we close tonight's show with Chicago's hit 25 or 6-4. Thank you, Defiance. Let's go, Bulldogs.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948.
When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let ServiceMaster Restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to complete overhaul and rebuilding. Contact ServiceMaster by McCann.
The band of class, since the opponents didn't bring theirs, Defiance's high school marching band continuing to entertain the fans here at the intermission as the host Bulldogs leading the visiting Shawnee Indians by a score of 14-12. So we welcome you back to our Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, helping you achieve your dreams and securing your future. Visit them in Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon, or online at midwestcommunity.org. Brent Balbinot alongside Andy Tracy saying thank you for joining us. All right, we're going to break them down. We believe we are relatively accurate. That's what we strive for, is relatively accurate here. Time for our Arthur Law Firm Stat Tracker. If a serious injury from a car crash puts you on the injured list, call the personal injury attorneys at Arthur Law Firm, serving Northwest Ohio for more than 50 years. Get the compensation you deserve and back in the game with your winning team at Arthur Law Firm. All right, let's go ahead and start with aggregate or team statistics right now. First for the visiting Indians. Tell you what, Defiance's defense has stymied. If there's a word that's more powerful than that, feel free to break out your thesaurus and give it to me. I have Shawnee's rushing attack for a total of 16 yards in the first half. That's pretty impressive.
And it felt like it came on two plays. A lot of negative rushing plays for the Shawnee Indians. Again, the Defiance defensive line is getting in that backfield. They are penetrating, and they're shutting down the run. However, the Indians are still in this game because they have some passing yards.
Spiker, again, 9 of 14 for 122 yards and a touchdown. Hobson has been his favorite receiver. 4 for 29 yards and a touchdown, but let's not forget there was a 73-yard reception by Bagley for a TD that was called back in that second quarter, or the Indians would be up.
Right, and we can talk about penalties and how that's just kind of ruined it for both of these teams, because that would have been a big play that would have put Shawnee ahead. And again, would have taken the gas out of the Defiance Bulldogs. However, they were called back because of a holding call, and it just ruined a perfectly big pass. Their receivers have done a good job of finding the open lane, finding the hole, and then you got to credit Spiker. His passes have been absolutely excellent. Right in the zone, over linebackers' heads, in front of DBs. They've been very, very good. Finesse-like throws. Real soft. Seems like easy to catch balls for wide receivers.
On the flip side, for the Bulldogs, 196 yards rushing as an aggregate, but no surprise, that is Defiance's bread and butter. 21 yards passing for a total of 197 yards. But Kelton Gibbs, whatever you had for breakfast, keep having it every Friday morning. He is having another man-sized game by my stack chart. 9 carries for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. Camaso has carry the load for the remainder of it, as I have him for 6 carries for 28 yards. But this is no surprise. If Defiance is going to be successful, this is exactly how we expected them to do it.
Right, and Defiance wants to run the ball. They want to run it behind that big offensive line, and the offensive line has done their job. We give a lot of credit to Kelton, who's done and made some great plays. He's made some guys miss. He's also had some guys on him that he's drug for several yards, and so he's done a phenomenal job. But you have to give credit to that offensive line. A lot of times, Kelton and Camaso, they're not getting hit until 5 or 6 yards down the field. They're getting hit by a smaller DB, which they're able to drag for several yards.
Well, and you beat me to it. We often hear of yards after catch, yak for wide receivers, yards after contact for running backs, and both Defiance's running backs, Camaso, but especially Gibbs. How many times have we called carrying 2, 3 more defenders down the field? It's almost impossible to tackle them one-on-one.
Right, and Shawnee has done a good job. They've tried to grab him low, to wrap low, to tie up those legs, and he's just pulled his legs right out of them. They haven't been able to make the play and been able to make the tackle, and he's getting positive yards after contact.
So those are your Stat Tracker stats by the Arthur Law Firm. If a serious injury from a car crash puts you on the injured reserve list, call the personal attorneys at Arthur Law Firm, serving Northwest Ohio for more than 50 years. Get on your game with the winning team at Arthur Law Firm. All right, that's one portion of our stats. You are biting your lower lip. He almost bled out in the second quarter, but we got him some water to revive him. Time now for our penalties category, brought to you by Service Master Restore by McCann. When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let Service Master Restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to a complete overhaul and rebuilding. Contact Service Master by McCann. Neither coach is going to be happy with the numbers you're about to read.
I tell you, if I were in that, I wouldn't want to be in that locker room right now. But if I were in that locker room, I'd probably be plugging my ears and still be able to hear very, very clearly. As the team's total, both of them have 115 yards of penalties. Defiance has 70 yards of penalties, and one of them was a brutal personal foul at the end of the half, which stopped them from being able to go up by 2 scores. And then, of course, the Shawnee Indians, they have 45 yards. 2 of those are personal fouls. We talk about penalties all the time because they really, really matter, especially when you want to run a game like Defiance does, where you want to methodically move the ball down the field. You can't have those penalties. However, the worst penalties to have are personal foul penalties because they have nothing to do with the play. It's simply players being undisciplined, getting themselves hot-headed and out of position, and doing something stupid to get a flag and really wreck it for your team. So 1 for Defiance, 2 for Shawnee. That's a total of 45 yards in personal foul penalties, which are silly in a game like this.
Those are your penalty stats, brought to you by Service Master Restore by McCann. Couple minutes back before we get set for the start of the second half. Defiance 14, Shawnee 12. We're going to put a wrap on the halftime show, brought to you by Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, helping you achieve your dreams and securing your future. Visit them in Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon, or online at midwestcommunity.org. Quick break, start of the third quarter. When we come back, you're watching DCTV.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Arthur Law Firm, we understand how overwhelming life can be after being seriously injured in a car accident. With over 50 years of experience, Arthur Law Firm has a track record of getting the results you deserve. When you don't know where to turn, get answers with Arthur. Call us today.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Superior Credit Union, a not-for-profit, member-owned financial cooperative. Visit superiorcu.com to find out more about joining the winning team at Superior Credit Union.
Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Stadium Drive in Defiance and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com.
Back at Fred Brown Stadium, the final 5 seconds of halftime ticking off the clock. Both teams finishing their warm-ups, and we will get set to resume play with Defiance trying to get off the snide after a tough loss last week to Van Wert. They are 2-3 overall, 1-3 in the Western Buckeye League. Shawnee came into this one on a roll after dropping the season opener to Lima Central Catholic. They have rolled off the rest of their season. They entered tonight at 4-1 overall, 4-0 in conference play. But right now the Bulldogs just 24 minutes away from playing the role of spoiler. We'll wait and see who's got more left in the next half of football. Brent Balbinot alongside Andy Tracy. And just as I say that, we get to tease you a little bit more because they just put another 2.5 minutes up on the scoreboard here. All right, so let me ask you this. You are now playing the role of coach. Coach Ritt in that Defiance locker room. What was your message to your team?
One word, discipline.
Okay.
Discipline, both as far as penalties go, and discipline as far as like staying in your lanes, not biting on pass plays, watching the quarterback's eyes, making sure that you keep those receivers in front of you. You can't afford another deep ball like they've had twice, but one was called back. It would be discipline, discipline, discipline. And I tell you, the next person that gets the penalty or a penalty, if I'm a Defiance Bulldog, it might be sitting on the sidelines. Also, might spend the entire practice Monday doing some crawls or something like bear crawls or some running.
So let's flip sidelines. If you're Coach Wireman for Shawnee, you clearly didn't play your best half of football either, but you're still very much in this ball game, just down a pair. What's your message to your team?
Well, again, it's a very similar message because, again, they have 2 personal foul penalties, and personal foul penalties are just lack of discipline. And I'd be telling my team, hey, we can't do this. Also, they have to improve their special teams. We got to talk about at some point the 2 missed extra points,
yes,
which makes this a Defiance lead at halftime. Now, Shawnee gets the ball because they deferred, and so getting the ball, being able to march down the field, they can actually put some points on and go ahead of Defiance. But 2 missed extra points, that's kind of a big deal. You know, we don't talk much about how football is 3 phases. It's offense, defense, and special teams. And you've got to be able to be disciplined and effective when it comes to your special team play. The kickoffs have not been effective like they should have been. The extra points haven't been effective, so I'd work on my special teams.
Final 30 seconds of the half ticking off the clock. We get set for third quarter action here at Fred Brown Stadium. Will Defiance get off the snide, or will Shawnee figure out a way to make it 5 in a row? Stick around and find out.
West Banco, build
on this field, there's just kind of a different environment about it. Now, I know up here in the press box, things always look a little bit different than if you're sitting in the stands or certainly on the field, but there's just kind of, I'm trying to think of the word that is accurate here. And when I think of it, I will bring it up to you, and you can tell me if you approve. You get what I'm saying here, though, don't you?
Yeah, it's like a shadow almost.
It's not an aura, but man, there's just I don't know what the word is, but I would think if you're Defiance, maybe you can take a little bit of advantage of it. Now, part of it is the turf and the way the light comes down. Obviously, it's just I don't want to say intimidating.
Maybe daunting a little bit?
Daunting, sure. And this is where if we were on social media, we could maybe have a contest and
come up with some extra words that might make it
leftover Marco's pizza on the top edge of the of the press box here to the winner. But as it stands right now, Burris will tee it up, kicking from right to left. Low squibber. And who wants to field this? Is that number 29, and that I believe is Chance Howard. And he heads to the far sideline.
Boy, he was able to field that at almost the 10-yard line, which feels like he should have got a lot more yards, especially with the amount of yards he ran, running all the way across the field to only get 6 more yards.
Well, again, you're covering ground, but it's lateral. It's east-west, and sometimes we forget, while the field is 100 yards long, 120 if you count the back of both end zones, it's 53 1/3 wide, and that's still a lot of ground to have to cover before you start turning north-south.
Feels like he could have got more yards if he just would have went straight north and south there instead of trying to flirt with his
we were always coached to do that. Pick it up. So 1st and 10 from their own 20. Handoff straight up the gut. I believe that's Weeks, and not much there.
Looks like
Thompson.
Camaso.
I take that back. Camaso comes
makes
up
the
to make the tackle. Picking up a gain of 1.
Again, not a lot of room there for the Shawnee Indians to be able to run the football. Defiance's front three have done an excellent job, but then you have linebackers that are filling the gaps super well in Camaso and Gibbs.
The lone back is going to be Isaac Meeks. Spiker. Straight drop. Pockets clean. Fires across the middle. Picked off. Intercepted. This would be Grady Duma as he returns it just outside the far hash mark as he's inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line. Duma, the freshman, red eyes, and there's, I think, a defensive adjustment. How many times did those linebackers get burned in the first half playing deep and giving up that soft underbelly? That time they deked Spiker.
Yes, he was in perfect position to make that play. He did fumble it at the end trying to make the return. Maybe that's just a little bit of an inexperience, getting super excited about his interception, but he was in great position. What a great play. And really, this really helps Defiance to get ahead of the game.
So 1st and 10, and they will start inside the red zone. Camaso gets the carry left side. He's upended as he's dropped at the 10-yard line. So not a bad way to start inside the Stambaugh Jewelers red zone. Diamonds Jewelry, watches, gifts, whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stambaugh Jewelers is something for every occasion, serving the community since 1948.
What an excellent play from the safety there for Shawnee, because that is 6 points. However, we have another penalty on Defiance.
Wow.
You can't get negative yards on all of these plays and win ball games.
Goodness
Holding by Defiance.
gracious. So that will wipe out the run. Make it 1st and 20. Now from the 27. Camaso will switch from the left to flank the right side of Ward. They'll hand it off to him. Stretch play near side. He cuts it back against the grain, finds a little bit of daylight as he slithers his way inside the 25 down to about the 23. Pickup of about 4.
Boy, there really wasn't much there for him as Shawnee had some penetration. We have an Indian down on the field. Can't see the number, but he's injured.
So much work behind the scenes at a game here, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe next broadcast I will go ahead and give credit where credit is due. But Brooks Schindler working solo here tonight to make sure the coffers stay full. Congratulations to you. Well done. I was keeping an eye on her. She's as honest as the day is long. So I think we maybe just have a cramp here. It looks like Hobson. They're working him over. Hopefully nothing more than that. I don't know about you, but when those hit, I couldn't sit still and wait for the trainer to come stretch me out. I had to get up. I had to stretch. It's just nasty. Anybody that's been through one of those, there's just really no describing it, is there?
Yes, and you definitely don't want the other team to see any kind of weakness. I'm crawling off of that field. I'm not allowing a trainer to come to me. I'm going to make sure that I go to the trainer. I remember several times when I got hard hits and I just took off for the sidelines like I was just leaving the game, got over there, sat down, had to catch my breath because they took it right out of me.
So were you a Gatorade or a pickle juice team as far as hydration efforts on the sidelines? Or
I don't-
something else?
I mean, I don't know what that orange drink was that we had, but
You had orange?
it did not taste great. I'll tell you that, but it was effective.
Okay. 2nd and 16 from the 23. Ward rolling out. He's getting some pressure from the backside. He'll fire off his back foot and throws behind his intended receiver. Was that right? Was that number 4? That's Daniel Orta. And again, there's where amped up a little too much. Just put a little air underneath that ball, lead your receiver, because he easily had 5 yards and probably about 5 more after the catch.
He catches that at 5 yards, and he's able to turn that upfield and run. He was open, however, the pass was just not there. And it looked like the pass was 2 or 3 yards behind him.
It was too hot, and it was too late.
Almost like it might have been for the back receiver, and it just underthrew the back receiver. It seems like that was just a bad pass by Colt Ward.
3rd and 16 from the 23. Ward with trips to the far side. Instead, he's going to look near side. Fires a bullet right. Actually ran backwards. then regains that yard he lost and pushed out of bounds at about they're going to give him the 15. Looks like they will, so that'll be a gain of about 8. Still going to be short of the first down.
Great read and great play, of course, by both the quarterback and the wide receiver there. The DB was way off right. It's almost like they're expecting him to run deep. However, he turns, cuts back, comes back to the ball, able to make the play, get some positive yards. Now it's 4th and 10, which, again, you don't want to be in these situations. You can't have the penalties to put yourself behind the chains.
Trips to the far side. Right is the lone receiver to the near side, which is the short side of the field. He's looking that way, getting pressure, and he's hit from behind and dropped. He'll be brought down at the 18-yard line. Again, just the play didn't have enough time to develop, and a situation where you got a young quarterback who I would almost lay money down, Andy. Next year, he'll be quicker with his decision-making.
He sure will. And the offensive line has done a pretty good job of blocking there. However, Kobe Bentz was able to get some strong penetration right there and was able to come up from behind. We know this. You don't have that much time to be able to throw the ball. You got to make quick decisions. He was looking to the left at Jordan Wright. Jordan had 2 guys right in his face. It was almost like Shawnee knew, we got to make sure we take Jordan out of this play. Again, that's when the quarterback has to be able to read that and go to one of his other receivers.
Well, we'll tip our cap where the cap needs to be tipped. I'm not sure who put this down on my table here, but I'm being told Kelton Gibbs in the last 8 quarters has 457 yards on 51 rushing attempts. He's been a man and then some.
Yes, he has ran hard, and it's hard for guys to bring him down. Even the big guys, if a defensive lineman gets hold of him, it's still hard to bring him down. He's done an excellent job. He's a big, strong kid.
Very.
Real strong.
So after a gain of 3, make it 2nd down and 7 from the 23. Trips to the near side. Spiker barking out the signals. 1-9 left to go. Looking left, he's going to dump it off into the flat, and boy, just enough contact to knock the receiver out of bounds. I believe that was Hobson.
I see number 11, Anton Hegler, making that play there. Oh, no, it wasn't Hegler. Can't tell who made the play. However, he had to fight through a block to be able to make that tackle.
So 3rd and 7. Straight drop. Spiker flushed out of the far side of the pocket. He dives forward, but he's not going to get anywhere close to the first down marker.
Looks like the Shawnee Indians might be running out of gas a little bit here as they're making their way through. It doesn't look like their routes are as precise, and it doesn't look like there's as much energy from the quarterback Spiker either. That's good for Defiance. Let's get some momentum. Let's get some scores. And this is the type of thing that is really good for a team that wants to run the ball.
This is going to be the first punt of the night
for
Shawnee. Kobe bends in to put a foot into it. And look out. Uh-oh, this one is muffed. And it's recovered by Shawnee. Burris went down to his knees. He had it in his breadbasket, and then it squirted right through. And again, we were always coached at that point, Andy, if you don't have a beat on it, it's poison. You just get away.
You cannot try and make that play. You get away from the ball. However, they are giving the ball to Defiance.
Oh, my goodness. Are they going to say he had possession and his knee was down? Or did they just recover it? Oh, what a huge break for Defiance.
There was clearly something that they saw that we didn't, because it looked like it was a fumble, and it looked like Shawnee came up with the ball.
Wow. So here we go. Kamaso getting the call straight up the gut, and he is stuck in the back. And much like what we saw in the closing minutes of the second quarter, Shawnee is now sending everything but the kitchen sink straight up the gut.
Boy, it seems like, again, Defiance being such a one-dimensional team, you have to be able to open that playbook a little bit because they just pulled everybody up to be able to tackle those running backs. And now they're getting such penetration because you simply win by numbers.
Yep.
8 on 5, it's easy to win.
Well, there's no daylight to run to in that situation if you chase Camaso. Lucky to only lose one. It's 2nd and 11. They run a counter. There's a little bit of daylight to the second level. I believe this is Paxton as he's out across the 45 and down to the 48-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 9.
Again, they brought the kitchen sink, and guys made contact. However, these Defiance running backs, they are just hard to bring down as he broke 3 tackles before he was brought to the ground.
So 3rd and much more manageable, just 2 yards, as we're now under 7 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
It's almost like they've taken their safeties out of the ball game, where they have one guy that's kind of back, but it's all linebackers and DBs, cornerbacks playing man.
Well, I'm looking right now. All 11 defenders are in the box. The handoff goes to Gibbs, and again, the numbers just aren't there. So here's my question for you. Is this a time now, if you're Defiance, to maybe bust out a little play action?
You might want to gun it deep. However, it is 4th down and 1. I think you stick with your bread and butter. You try and overpower and get the first down. This might be an opportunity, though. We saw that Jordan Wright down here, who is really fast, was one-on-one with this DB. Again, like you said, this might be your chance to run a play-action pass, throw it deep. However, they are running a power offense.
Right now, I think you just play the percentages and you get the 1 yard on the ground, and then playbook opens up as Gibbs gets the call and the big eaters up front, and in particular, center Jack Hines, right guard Alex Hinojosa, and right tackle Jackson Becker. Those guys were road graders on that play.
They sure would, and they just kept going. They got an extra 8 yards after the play because they just weren't going to stop.
Oh, was that about 13 yards?
It was a 13-yard gain.
I unofficially have Gibbs for 173 yards on 11 carries. And yet we got a 2-point ball game.
Well, and he's being contacted. I mean, that play right there, he was contacted about 5 yards and got 8 more yards just by simply keeping those legs rolling and getting behind his big guys and everybody pushing.
1st and 10 from the 38. Camaso high steps over a would-be tackler. We got whistles, and is this play actually going to be dead? Did we have movement before the snap? And false start will be the call. First penalty of the second half.
It is the second penalty. They had a holding call that brought them back when they were in the red zone. So Defiance already, after we talked about halftime, wouldn't be fun in the Defiance locker room, already has 15 yards in penalties.
Clock continues to run, approaching the 5-minute mark as it's now 1st and 15 from the 43. All right, interesting. Davis will be the slot to the near side, and is this Doden Kiesling coming out?
That's Alex Hinojosa.
Nope, that's Hinojosa, number 59. No.
55.
It's 55, that's Hinojosa, excuse me.
You wonder why they had to bring him off the sidelines. Was it an injury or equipment issue?
2-step drop. Ward has some time. Flushed out. Throws off his back foot. Very dangerous into double coverage. I know sometimes it's easy to just lock in on your team's color, but that was a very lucky play for Defiance.
Boy, that was just a very poor decision. You do not want to throw that ball into double coverage. It had to go through 2 Shawnee Indians before it even got to the Defiance receiver right there. That play just didn't make sense. Again, we know this young quarterback. Hopefully he learns these are the opportunities. You throw it away.
2nd and 15. Right, the lone receiver to the near side. Are they running well, they're running bunched. Bunch formation, strong side will be to the right. Camaso gets the carry, skirting the line of scrimmage, tries to bounce it to the far side. They stand him up. Nice job that time by Reese Davidson, the corner, to come up and run support. And I'm not sure he got anything. They're not giving him anything on the scoreboard. It's 3rd and 15. Now they got to give him 2. Third and a bunch. Or they're going to run it. Gibbs just trying to get a little bit of daylight. He's inside the 40 to the 39. That's only going to be a gain of 2.
Boy, and this is a really tough zone right here. You punt it, you go for it. I mean, this is a challenging time because you're on the 39-yard line. Looks like they're going to go for it.
Yep.
They got Ward out there.
Well, and again, if you're a receiver, this is where you have to know where the chains are. It's 11, run a 12-yard route. Indians were showing blitz, and they're going to pooch punt, and we've got a flag. And I think we might have had movement. False start.
Yep. The back there took a step forward before the ball was snapped. Looked like it was Camiso.
So with that said, I think we're going to see a standard punt now. They ran the quick kick early, but now no need for any deception.
Defiance is pushing 100 yards in penalties in this game. We are now at 90 yards.
Egler puts a foot into it. And this one is going to be fielded by Bagley. Up the far side. Looked like he had a little bit of daylight originally, but stood up. And did he get back to the 25? I'm trying to look at the line judge on the far side, see where they'll spot that football. And it looks like they're going to give him the 25. So 3:06 left to go. And how about that? After the first punt of the ball game for the Indians, Defiance has to return the favor with their first punt. First and 10 from their own 25.
I'm curious to see what Shawnee has in the bag here. It seems like Defiance has made some good defensive adjustments, at least we saw in that first drive, able to pick the ball off, but also be in good position. Maybe Shawnee switches it up and tries to get the run game rolling.
Bagley, lone receiver to the near side. Wright's going to give him some cushion. Twins to the far side. Spiker on a quarterback design draw, and he's hit in the backfield once, twice. Still slithers out of a tackle, but boy, that was a lot of work for about a half-a-yard gain.
Boy, that looked like he was going to get something out of nothing, and then there was nothing, and then there was something, and then there was nothing, and it ended up being nothing.
Goodness like gracious. Life, isn't it?
Yes. He broke 3 tackles to get no yards.
Yep. And to be honest, it was probably his most athletic run of the night.
It looked very athletic, however, it was not effective.
So 2nd and 10 from the 25. Now under 2.5 left to go in the third. A very defensive-oriented third quarter. It's been a battle of attrition. Defiance up by 2, 14-12. Spiker, straight drop. He's got a clean pocket. He's got all kinds of time. He'll sling it, and he's got Bagley at the 35 down the far sideline. Look out, and he's off to the races. Nobody going to catch him. He will Cadillac it into the end zone. Touchdown, Shawnee.
Boy, it felt like Defiance had everything going for him right there. The guys, the DBs were in position. However, Spiker was able to wiggle his way out of getting sacked, was able to make that pass, and just an excellent run by Bagley.
Yep.
Defiance has to make those tackles. They've got to make those plays. Again, we've talked about the big plays. They've given up last game, 6 plays, changes the game. This game has been very similar. It's a handful of plays that have put them behind.
Bagley with a 75-yard touchdown reception. Point after, and I believe, are they going with a different kicker than we were originally given on our depth chart? Are they going to go for 2? Looks like they're not going to attempt the kick after missing a pair, and they're going to go for 2 to try and stretch this to a 6-point lead. A little percentage football here by Coach Wireman and company as they lead at 18-14. Meeks lone back. Spiker on a designed run. Can he get it to the edge? He's being feathered out. He dives. He's in. He got the conversion.
Man, that was close. It certainly didn't feel like he was able to cross that pylon right there. However, the official had a perfect view of it, calls it. Now it is a 6-point ball game.
A one-play drive, 75 yards on the touchdown reception. Spiker to Bagley. The 2-point conversion is good. And at the 2:08 mark, after another West Banco touchdown, the Indians retake the lead 20-14. We'll take a quick timeout. Back with more. You're watching DCTV Sports.
West Banco, building a better bank every day since 1870. Community-focused West Banco. Find out more at westbanco.com.
Fred Brown Stadium has become rather silent after a one-play, 75-yard touchdown reception. Bagley, look, he got the ball in a lot of congestion, and you figure he was running basically straight down the sideline. So the field, in effect, was also acting as an extra defender, but Defiance, did anybody even lay a hand on him? Could you tell?
It looked like somebody touched him early, and he had two defenders behind him that if they take good angles, again, like you said, should be able to easily push him out of bounds, yet he scores a touchdown.
So it's 20-14. The kickoff will be a low squib coming up, and it takes a high hop, and it squirts through, I believe it was at Burris's hands. And check that, that's Reed Rallison, number 5. And he's going to be lucky to get back across the 10. I'll say his knee was down at about, what, the 13 here?
Boy, that ball took a very, very generous Shawnee bounce right before he was about to field it. Looked like he was fielding a ground ball there, and then it just popped right up over his head. Again, what is that, 4 kickoffs? All 4 of them look like squib kicks.
Yep.
It's almost like they're scared of Defiance's receiving team.
Or maybe they just aren't confident to kick the ball deep enough, so they figure that's a more effective play. Either way, 1st and 10 from the 13, running the counter. Out across the 15, just lowering the shoulder and trying to go north-south.
Again, we've got plenty of time. Defiance does not have to panic here. They need to stick with their game plan, run the ball hard. Shawnee's got to be getting tired. Just push them around like they have been the entire game. However, again, no penalties, no penalties, no penalties.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying no penalties.
2nd down and 6 from the 17.
I mean, after you yell at them at halftime, what do you say when you huddle up after they just had 2 penalties that took them out of scoring position?
Well, look, you talked about discipline. I would maybe describe it a different angle. It's focus. Am I looking at where I'm at? Am I looking at where my teammates are at? Am I locked in? A mental focus. 2nd and 6. Handoff goes to Camaso. He's hit, and his legs dropped out from underneath him. I'm noticing Shawnee's pad level defensively looks a lot more sound here in the second half. They're not just hitting high. They're wrapping up low and taking legs away, and that's starting to become a bit more effective.
Well, Shawnee has decided as well you have to pass it on us. We're not going to allow you to run it. We're going to put so many guys in the box. We're going to try and stop you. You have to throw the ball if you want to be effective here. And again, that's smart play on them. They know Defiance has not been super effective throwing the football. However, we know Defiance has some good receivers, and we know Colt Ward has a good arm.
Faking the handoff. Ward in trouble, and he's going to tuck it away and run, but he runs straight into the teeth of the defense. And I'm not sure he got back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of 1 on the play. And Defiance is in no hurry to snap the football for the final play of the 3rd quarter. So they will let the clock tick down, switch ends of the field before they punt. And ironically, it will be the 2nd in a row for the Bulldogs here tonight. 2 seconds, 1 second, they don't have to, and they don't want to. Whistle sounds, they'll flip ends of the field. Only score of the 3rd quarter, a 75-yard touchdown reception. J.J. Spiker hits Jaron Bagley. Yards after the catch, well over 50. And the Indians enjoy a 6-point advantage, 20-14. We'll take a quick timeout. Back with the fourth and final quarter right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports. Final 12 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock as we welcome you back to Fred Brown Stadium, home of the Bulldogs. Defiance trailing, visiting Shawnee 20-14. And after 2 3-and-outs, after not having to punt for the entire first half, 3 offensive series in the third quarter. Turn it over on downs, punt, and punt. As Bagley is back to receive. This is a high snap. It's going to go out of the back of the end zone. It's going to be a free 2 points on the safety. Oh, my goodness. And now it is an 8-point ball game. And another self-inflicted wound.
Just mistake after mistake. Again, these are not how you win these ball games. It looks like when you're watching this game, again, we talked about this last week, Defiance looks like they have more power up front. They're strong. They're physical. They just have to get out of their own way. They can't make these mistakes and allow the Shawnee Indians to go up basically 2 scores here and get the football.
That was a gift. Well, right now, only down 8. So, again, if the defense can come up with a stop, still plenty of time as we just get underway here in the fourth. But, my goodness, how many times can you go to practice on Monday and say, woulda, coulda, shoulda, guys?
Yep. And this is when you're the coach, you're in the huddle, and you're saying, listen, guys, it's time to compete. Our backs are against the wall. It's time to stop this. It's time to stop making the messes. It's time to be disciplined. Let's get out there. Let's show them what we're made of.
So instead of punting, they have the option to free kick. They will tee it up at the 20. But again, Burris will see his strategy so far through the early part of the ball game has been to squib it. And we'll see if that's the case again here. Well, instead he's going to kick it high. He's going to kick it deep. And field about the 21. This looks like Howard out past the 40, up the far sideline, and kicks a couple defenders with him, but almost out to midfield. Excellent return.
They have great field position. They've got a great. There's no pressure on Shawnee right now. This is when you play a little bit of methodical dink and dunk football. We know they're not great at running the ball against Defiance's front. However, some of their short passes are just as good as runs. You run a stop route on the outside, and you're able to get 3, 4, 5 yards. Just keep plugging away. As Defiance pulls forward, that's when you put the nail in the coffin and you throw it deep over their heads.
Well, look, we talked about this, but on Defiance's side of the offensive line of scrimmage last week, whether you run for 5 or throw for 5, it's still 5.
Still 5 yards. And they were getting 5 yards every time, 5, 6, 7 yards.
Yep. Doesn't have to be 20 or a long bomb to make the highlight reel. It just gives you a little bit more room in your playbook. As it's going to be Meeks off the right side and not quite to midfield.
See, again, you have this play right here where Meeks runs up the gut at the heart of Defiance's defense. When you have the receiver over here with the DB 8 yards off of him. Feels like a good, easy stop route. Gets you more than the 2 yards they got trying to run the ball.
Trips to the near side, Twins to the far side, empty backfield for Spiker. A little bit of a low snap, straight drop, pocket breaks down. He's going to fire off his back foot, and did he hit his man? He did. Across the field at the 45, I believe that's Hobson. Going to bring up 3rd down and short, about, we'll call it a short 3.
Boy, it sure looks like Defiance is scared of the deep ball here. They had their DBs 15 yards off of the receivers, especially the inside receivers. And so now they pull them up a little bit more because they know they only have to get 2 yards.
Same formation, trips near side, Twins far side, and do we have somebody being a little over-aggressive by Defiance on the offensive line? Hinojosa looking up and pleading his case to the coaches on the Defiance sideline. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but aggressiveness is great in this game, but it's got to be mixed with some discipline. And that is a gifted first down.
It feels like you had them right where you wanted them there. And again, now they're almost in 4-down zone.
1st and 10 from the Bulldog 41. Jet sweep. Hobson turns to the far corner, and boy, huge pickup as he scampers down the far sideline down to about the 32-yard line. Pickup of a long 8 or a short 9, but that's going to be second, and we'll call it 1.
One of the better rush plays here for the Shawnee Indians. Feels like, hey, maybe get that ball on the outside a little bit. Stop trying to pound the rock right up the middle. Get it to the outside. Let your wide receivers, their wide receivers are willing to block, and they seem to be good blockers, and get yourself some positive yards.
Clock continues to tick as we approach the 9.5-minute mark in the game. Design quarterback draw. Spiker through a hole, second level. Spins out of 1, 2, 3 tackles down to the 20-yard line. A pickup of 12 and a first down inside the Stambaugh Jewelers red zone.
And you were wondering when you were going to see it because Spiker has 434 rushing yards on the season. They've tried a couple of runs with him, designed runs. You knew that there was going to be one that was going to get some positive yards. Defiance looks like their heads are down a little bit. This is the time for him to be pounding it himself.
1st and 10 from the 20. Again, the play clock is not working on the field. The officials are keeping it. I believe that's Hobson off the right side, and he is just starting to see Defiance's front 3, 4 if you want to consider Gibbs coming up and pinching. I don't want to say a different body language right now, Andy, but you're seeing Shawnee starting to pick up more yards on 1st and 2nd down than they did through the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, momentum has definitely shifted here. It looks like there's a little bit of pep in their step as they're running to the line of scrimmage. And Defiance looks like they're moving a little bit slower.
This is where you got to bow your neck if you're the Bulldogs. You're still only down by 1 score. But the clock continues to run as we approach 8 minutes left to go in the game. Spiker, design quarterback draw, straight up the gut. He's got a huge hole, and he's going to dive forward. Was his knee down, or did he get in? He did. Touchdown. 16 yards on the carry. And that is huge.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, especially like we talked about before. The Bulldogs don't score a lot of points. They've been averaging 16 points a game. They're at 14 right now. The Indians now have 28, which I believe is more points than any game that Defiance has played so far. They have not scored more than 28 points.
Point after being attempted here by the snap is bobbled. This is a fire call. Who wants to get on him? Right now there's a mass of humanity moving inside the 5, and that's where the pile will stop. So the point after is no good on the fumbled snap.
Boy, I'm not sure either team is going to be happy with that special team movement right there. It looked like, of course, Shawnee snapped the ball, and Defiance didn't even try. They had 2 guys in the backfield. That was a fire. Should have been swarming to the ball. Should have been a whole bunch of guys on that play, and they just weren't there. Again, Shawnee Indians special teams has been really an Achilles heel out here as they're playing, but Defiance didn't seem to show up for that play either.
28-14, 8:03 left to go in the ball game. We'll take a quick timeout. Back with more right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
Back at Fred Brown Stadium. Backs against the wall for the host Bulldogs. Defiance surrendering 2 second-half touchdowns and a 2-point conversion to Shawnee to fall down by 2 scores now, 28-14. Well, we'll see if this ball is squibbed again. This is going to be high and a relatively decent kick. Wright's got it at the 10, trying to get behind his wedge. Oh, man, did he get hit hard. Coming straight down the gut in between the hash marks. He looked a little wobbly as he was getting up. The return will be out past the 25 to about the 27-yard line.
Looks like we do have another flag on the play.
Of course.
I cannot see what the official has called right there, but it looks like it's going to go against Defiance.
Wow.
Block in the back by Defiance. Again, you just can't hurt yourselves out on the field.
First and 10 on the 15.
First and 10 as the ball's backed up to the 15. This is going to be a stretch play to the near side. Camaso makes the first couple men miss, lowers the shoulder, and he's out to the front. Check that was Paxton, not Camaso. That was Abel Paxton. And a decent gain of almost 10. So we got back.
Boy, and he
what
ran
they
with some
needed.
passion right
Yep.
there. And if the other guys aren't going to do it, give it to the guys that are. He seemed to really, really want that first down.
At what point do you just throw caution to the wind and say, I don't care? As most coaches will tell you, Paxton gets the call, left side, through a hole, second level, carries the pile out past the 30 to the 31, 32-yard line. Give him about 8, maybe 9. We talked about this before. And again, aggressive mistakes versus passive mistakes. And at this point, aggressive but undisciplined, no. Aggressive in nature, sure, you'll take it. You'd rather have to reel a kid back than drag him forward, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
First and 10 for the 32. Gibbs, he drags a few guys with him. He tends to do that on every snap of the football.
I like what Defiance is doing here. They have 6:55 left in the game. They haven't gone crazy with the pass because it looks like that Shawnee has gone kind of back to moving their safeties and stuff in, not putting everything into the run. And so Defiance is just going to run right at them.
Second and 4 from the 38. Ward rolling out near side. They're not bringing much of a rush. This is going to be dumped off down low, and there's where Wright does the smart move and just goes north-south. He gains the first down out to the 45. That'll be a pickup of 7.
Those are nice little completions. Again, get your young quarterback some confidence. Also get the ball into your athletes' hands. Allow them to try and make a play.
First and 10 from the 45. Chains move, but so does the clock as we approach the 6-minute mark. Long throw to the far boundary. Boy, kind of a low percentage throw there, especially with only one wide receiver out to block for Wright, and an incompletion. Are they saying that's a completion? The clock continues to run.
Must have been a completion.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. So I never would say this, not often. It would have been better for an incompletion there because you get no gain. But now the clock continues to run under 6 minutes left to go. Gibbs stacked up at the line. There was a trio of red and white jerseys there. Looking at Caden Kraft, the linebacker who has been in on a number of different plays tonight.
What a big play for Shawnee, too, to get that stop against a great running team, great running back, to be able to stay in your gaps and make that play. Let's see what Defiance can pull out here.
8th play of the drive on 3rd and 10. Rolling out, far side, thrown against his body and misses everything. Ward looked like he really only had one man in the pattern. And we've got a flag on the far sideline. All right. Let's wait and see here. Do we have interference? Did somebody hit Ward late? Let's take a peek. The officials are talking to Shawnee's captains, and it looks like holding is going to be the call.
Another penalty by Defiance. They are, of course, shooting themselves in the foot with these penalties. We know it. We've talked about it. Feels like beating a dead horse. However, it seems like we have to talk about it as long as they keep doing it. Okay, Shawnee declined the penalty.
So 4th and 10, and Defiance has no choice but to go for it, and they're going to burn a timeout. We will take one with them. 4th and 10 from their own 45, 5:07 left to go and down 28-14. Bulldogs trying to continue the drive. We'll take a quick timeout. Back with more on DCTV Sports.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Now there you see the Defiance huddle. And much like a week ago against Van Wert, the same tonight against Shawnee, it's been a tale of two halves. And right now, Defiance being shut out in the second half, having given up 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion to Shawnee. And in a game where the Bulldogs looked like they were in command, are now desperate on 4th and 10 from their own 45.
Yeah, and it feels like if you're Defiance, you're very frustrated because you've been effective, and yet the score doesn't show it.
Showing a blitz, they back out. Ward, pockets clean. He's going to air it out down the near sideline. Right's there, and fingertip catch. He couldn't quite haul it in. He had stepped out of bounds, but he'd been pushed out, so I don't believe that would have been in effect had he made the catch. He got his hands on it, just couldn't quite secure it, and the Bulldogs will turn it over on downs.
Boy, I tell you, though, that might have been the best pass we've seen from Colt Ward this year. He floated that right into the zone. Feels like a receiver like Jordan. He gets his hands on it. He's got to bring that in. I mean, that's the key. Those are the points of the game, right? The big plays, of course, by Shawnee, and Defiance has to make those plays. Excellent pass, just missed the ball.
So with 5 minutes exactly left to go in the contest and up by a pair of touchdowns, 1st and 10 from their own 45, Shawnee, one would think, would keep it on the ground, although they haven't had much of a ground game to speak of tonight. Just about everything's been through the air, but Meeks gets the call, and something we didn't see through the first 3 quarters, we're now seeing. Basically, the first contact isn't being made until the second level by a Defiance defender. Pickup of 8.
You know, what an excellent run. Again, we didn't see any great runs in the first half. Saw some really nice short passes, but now it's being effective. But then again, Defiance seems like they've lost their momentum, lost their drive and desire to win this ball game.
2nd and 2 from the 37. Spiker taking his time. He knows how much time it is. We can't see the field clock, or the play clock is down tonight, but the officials are keeping track of it on the gridiron, and he knows, as now he starts his cadence. Low snap, hands it off. Meeks second level. Makes 2, 3 men miss, makes a 4th, high steps out of another tackle, and that is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th effort. Oh my goodness. Touchdown, Indians.
How many missed tackles right there? Was that 5 missed tackles? I mean, he was hit at the line of scrimmage, and then it was just one after another. It seemed like every level. Defensive lineman hits him, linebacker hits him, linebacker hits him, safety hits him, corner hits him, and he just keeps going. What an excellent run by Meeks, though. I mean, you got to give him some credit. He did not go down, and then again, he puts them up by yet another touchdown.
Meeks, what was that, a 47-yard run, I believe? And they will come on to attempt the extra point. Haroon Jamai puts it up, and no good. Little consolation for the Bulldogs at the 4:02 mark. This one is almost all but cooked, sliced, and glazed. 34-14. We'll take a quick timeout. Back with more after this on DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
And what do we have here? Again, I'm looking up and just now noticing the umpire making a... Folks, I'll be honest, I was updating my drive chart. I did not see the signal from the official. Andy, if you did, feel free.
I did not.
But this is going to be a kickoff. Clearly, it's a penalty against Defiance, something maybe, a little extracurricular activity. And holy cow, they are going to kick off from the Bulldog 45. So the question is, do you want to feel like a man and put it out of the back of the end zone, or do you want to try some strategy here and maybe try a coffin corner or a squib somewhere to make the return more difficult?
Yep, and the squib has been working for them. It's been keeping it out of the hands of Defiance's athletes, and they've been getting really good field position because of it. So I think you might stick with your original strategy here. Just squib it, see if you can get good field position.
So the youngster, Arun Jamai, puts a foot into it, and this will bounce into the back of the end zone for a touchback.
That looked like a squib through the end zone, is what that was.
4:02 left to go in the ball game.
And I know, again, it's hard to look at, but when I'm keeping track of these penalties, I look at one side of the sheet, and it is just dominated by penalties. And yet there was another one right there where there was only one quarter, the second quarter, where Shawnee had any penalties. They had 4 penalties in that quarter, which is, of course, way too much, but only one quarter where Defiance has had them consistently throughout the game.
Well, matter of pride on this drive for the Bulldogs, as they have been shut out so far here in the second half. Ward, 2-step drop, slings it, fires underneath, completion. Some good yards after the catch by TJ Burris as he takes a shoulder. Pushed out of bounds at about the 31, 32. That'll be a pickup of about 12.
Again, really nice pass. Wide receiver was open, very, very open there. Underneath, some good confidence for your young quarterback. And this is the opportunity for that, right? You're down 34-14. Let's get maybe some 2-minute offense, maybe get some work in so you can win the next game.
I think we had a penalty here. We do, a personal foul. So maybe a little extracurricular activity after going out of bounds. Tack on another 15. And now all of a sudden, it's 1st and 10 from the 48. Ward straight drop, getting pressure. Dumps it off. Gibbs in the flat. Has some room. He's got right in front blocking for him. And he will be run out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Pickup of about 12.
These are the passes you like to see when you have a young quarterback. He was able to one read and then check it down to his back, who was in the flat. And then again, great block by the wide receiver, Jordan, on the outside there to get him an extra 5 yards.
Clock stops with 3:46 left to go. Defiance looking for a score out of pride on this drive. Ward steps up. Now he could throw it away, and instead he's going to take the sack back at the 41-yard line.
Boy, that is just a lack of field awareness right there. You had 2 guys in front of you. You most likely weren't going to get to the line of scrimmage. Ward is an athlete. He's got a strong arm, and he actually moves pretty good. However, that's the time you throw it away, you stop the clock, you just get it again for another play.
2nd and 12. Pocket clean. Does he want to dump it off? He's going to sling it to the far boundary, and just a long way to cover. And as a receiver, anytime you have to raise your arms above your head, you are aware that you are exposed, and give Evan Davis credit for hanging tough. And I'm not sure how much he got. They're going to spot it at the 38, so a gain of about 4.
Boy, the DB broke on that ball right there and was able to hit Davis very, very hard, right in the hip. Those sting.
Ward overthrows his intended receiver. It looked like he had really only one man in the pattern. That was Davis. And the Bulldogs looking at 4th down and 8.
This is where you got to know where the sticks are when you run this route right here. It feels like Defiance has been short several times in the games that we've done in the past. They don't know where the sticks are. They end up catching the ball a yard or 2 short. Right now, you got to get past it. You need 10 yards. Get 10 yards deep on your route.
Ward straight drop. They're bringing a minimal rush. He steps up in the pocket, slings it across the middle. He had Gibbs, but he tried to thread the needle. It's deflected, incomplete. I believe that was Cam Barker, the linebacker, that got a hand on it, and that will be a turnover on downs for the third time this half.
First and 10, Shawnee on the 38.
Well, the Shawnee Indians, they have played a very, very nice second half.
They have.
They've run the ball well. They've passed the ball well. They've made few mistakes. They only have one penalty, and it was there at the end. Again, if you're the coach, you're going, guys, the game, we're ahead. This is silly. Don't make these mistakes.
I would say this, though, too. I think the changes on defense were responsible for the offensive success. We saw basically 11 men in the box from maybe the midway point of the third quarter on. It was just clear they were going to dare Defiance to throw the ball over them. And as you said, if you're going to blitz, if you're going to fill every gap with a red and white jersey, you've got 8, maybe even 9 jerseys against 5. The math just doesn't add up if you're the offense.
That's right. And in those situations, you don't have to throw deep balls. You can throw screens, you can throw slants, you can throw outs. Just try and get your receivers the ball. And then again, because you have so many guys in the box and you have one receiver on the left side, one on the right, they're man-to-man. If they can get loose on a slant route, they could break one for a touchdown.
2nd and 6 after the gain of 4 by Meeks. Spiker showing some football IQ here, milking every last second he can off the play clock. A very low snap. Meeks gets the call and spins out of 1 tackle. Almost a second. Paxton took his legs out from underneath him, or he was about a step away from breaking it to the near side and taking off again.
Yeah, he has got himself a newfound energy here in the end. Maybe he knows his role. Maybe they like to pass the ball, and he knows at the end of the game, this is my time to shine, because he is really, really chugging along. He's pushing it hard. He's getting them the first downs, which is going to win them this ball game.
Well, I think he also knows he's going up against a tired defense right now. So maybe just whatever it takes to give you a little extra energy or snap, but they've got it as we approach the 1-minute mark. And victory formation now for the Indians. Under center, Spiker takes a knee. They'll need to do it one more time. Well, they got to push, trailing at the half. But Shawnee shows some fortitude, and they are about to roll off their 5th straight win and remain unbeaten in the WBL. And for Defiance, for the 2nd straight week, especially at home, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Again, it feels like a ball game that at least should have been close. 34-14 feels like doesn't display the football that we saw here. But you have to give credit to Shawnee. Again, they came here to play. And then you got to be, if you're Defiance, you got to be a little bit discouraged, because this game should have been close, and it's all just self-destruction.
Buzzer sounds, and with it, a come-from-behind victory for the Indians, as they are now 5-1 overall. More importantly, 5-0 in the WBL. And the Bulldogs will have to lick their wounds after falling to 2-4 and 1-4, respectively. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, it'll be the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. Final score, Shawnee 34, Defiance 14. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Stanball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stanball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948.
When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let ServiceMaster Restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to complete overhaul and rebuilding. Contact ServiceMaster by McCann.
In life, unexpected challenges can test us. If you've been seriously injured in a car accident, you deserve a team that understands. Because your story matters. Call Arthur Law Firm today. We'll fight for you every step of the way.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Superior Credit Union, a not-for-profit, member-owned financial cooperative. Visit superiorcu.com to find out more about joining the winning team at Superior Credit Union.
Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Stadium Drive in Defiance and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com.
Westbanco, building a better bank every day since 1870. Community-focused Westbanco. Find out more at westbanco.com.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948.
When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let ServiceMaster Restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to complete overhaul and rebuilding. Contact ServiceMaster by McCann.
We welcome you back at Fred Brown Stadium as the lights are down, a very hushed tone, I guess you could say, as the fans start to file out. It was a tale of two halves. Bulldogs led 14-12 over Shawnee, going into the locker room, coming out. They're shut out in the second half as the Indians just put their foot on the pedal, not only offensively, but I think this game really changed defensively. They loaded the box and simply dared Defiance to throw over them. Andy, we looked at it, and I had to double-check on more than one occasion. All 11 Indian defenders were within the box, and they were just coming downhill, and it paid dividends en route to a 34-14 win. The Indians remain unbeaten in the WBL. As a matter of fact, they've rolled off 5 straight. They're 5-1 overall. 5-0 in conference play. Defiance licking their wounds as they fall to 2-4 and 1-4 respectively. First things first, tip your cap to Shawnee. They came out, especially in the second half, made some great in-game adjustments, and they earned the victory.
Yeah, and putting the guys in the box, that was a great strategy. And I think it's going to be used in the future, too. If you're Defiance, you have to go into this week knowing, hey, they had a strategy that worked against us, being able to stop our run, forcing us to throw the ball. We got to know that we're going to face it probably the next 4 games as well.
Unofficially, let's go ahead and take a look at our stat tracker from Arthur Law Firm. If a serious injury or a car crash puts you on the IR, well, call the personal injury attorneys at Arthur Law Firm, serving Northwest Ohio for more than 50 years. Get the compensation you deserve. Get back in the game with their winning team at Arthur Law Firm. Unofficially, for Defiance, I've got 257 yards rushing. Again, a good night on the ground, just 62 passing. 16 attempts, just 62 yards through the air. I've got Gibbs, workmanlike performance again, as we've been used to seeing. 14 carries, 187 yards, and a touchdown. But again, he's carrying the bulk of that load. He needs somebody else to step up.
Yeah, and can you tell us what the difference is in the 2 halves there as far as their rushing goes?
196 is what I had for rushing at the half, 257 total. So, again,
196 versus 60 yards.
That's what happens, though, when we talk about it. The defense stacks the box. You see 11 guys. They're all coming downhill. There was no surprise. At that point in time, it's here's our game plan. Go ahead and beat us if you can. And to Shawnee's credit, it worked.
And it felt like they brought some bigger guys in. It's like, hey, DBs, you're not being used. We're going to pull you out of the game. We're going to put some extra linebackers in there, make sure that we can make those tackles so that they can't get those yards after contact.
On the flip side for the Indians, again, unofficially, not a ton rushing, but of the 127 yards I show here, 47 came off of one Meeks run. Late in the ball game, it went for the touchdown that ended up being the sealer on the deal. 2 touchdowns instead of 1. Through the air, about at his average. Spiker I had for 12 of 18 for 207 yards, couple of interceptions, but a couple of touchdowns. And to say they did enough is probably the most accurate here, but you don't get style points. They don't ask you how, they ask you how many. And Shawnee picks up the win today.
They sure did. And you got to give Meeks some credit for that run. That was an incredible run where he broke 4 or 5 tackles there to be able to get themselves in the end zone and really seal the game for them. And at the end of the game there, he was running very, very hard. Looked like, again, the Indians had some energy. Defiance had backed out. Wasn't looking good towards the end.
Well, our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show continues with another stat that we don't want to read, but we've got to. It's part of the game. We also want to thank our postgame sponsor, Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Keep your eyes healthy for a long life of clear vision. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center, your family's vision source. Stadium Drive in Defiance and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com. It's a bitter pill to swallow. Neither coach is going to be happy. Look at him, ladies and gentlemen. He's wincing. Time for our penalties by ServiceMaster, Restore by McCann. When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let ServiceMaster Restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to complete overhauls and rebuilding, contact ServiceMaster by McCann. I'm going to step out. All I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, is don't kill the messenger. He's just reading what happened on the field tonight. Give us the news.
Again, unofficially, I have 15 penalties for Defiance. 15 penalties at 125 total yards. Now,
that's over the length of a football field.
And it's also not to mention the 2 that were declined.
True.
So there were penalties that were declined by the Shawnee Indians, which would have added to that number. And then Shawnee themselves, they had 5 penalties for a total of 60 yards. Now, again, if you're the Shawnee coach, you're frustrated too because that's 3 personal foul penalties.
Well, and if you're Coach Wireman, you had a holding call that took back a 70-yard touchdown too as well. That could have been even worse. But how do you deal with that as a coach? Because it's one thing, we talked about this in-game. You don't mind aggressive physical penalties depending on the situation. But when they're mental, when they're free, when you have to regain them, or if you give the opposition a short field, that's going to put gray hairs on a coach's head. It might send some starters to the bench. How do you correct those? You've played, you've coached this level. How do you break that habit?
Well, I mean, and here's the other challenge that you didn't mention. Now that they have this reputation, officials are going to be looking for it. If they have these same officials coming up, they're going to be identifying guys that were holding, guys that were doing false starts, guys that were doing personal fouls, and they're going to be paying attention to it. Of course, if you're coaching this, I mean, this is what you're drilling all day long. Those offside penalties, when you know you're in those positions that you can't give up the first down, I mean, you just got to drill it over and over and over and over again. You want it to be natural for your team to not make penalties. And so there's some, again, like you said, when you talk about being aggressive penalties are one thing. They did have their fair share of those, but then there's just silly dead ball penalties, which are just a lack of discipline. False starts, offsides, constantly, you know what the count is. You got to be paying attention. You got to focus. You can't give the other team that many yards in a game and expect to win the ball game.
We're going to take one last time out of our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on it. Shawnee 34, Defiance 14. You're watching DCTV Sports.
In life, unexpected challenges can test us. If you've been seriously injured in a car accident, you deserve a team that understands. Because your story matters. Call Arthur Law Firm today. We'll fight for you every step of the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, but we have cleaned out both your sweater, the press box. We are insect-free, and we are putting the finishing touches on the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. Keep your eyes healthy for a long life of clear vision. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center, your family's vision source. Stadium Drive in Defiance and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com. All right, we are past the halfway mark now. Forget postseason, forget playoffs. At this point, if you're Shawnee, you're clearly in the driver's seat. You've got the target on your back. If you're Defiance, I think Monday at practice, if you're Coach Ripp and the rest of your squad, the only thing that matters is can we improve. The next game on the schedule is the most important. At this point, I don't want to overemphasize it or become dramatic or Hollywood-esque, but is it about a matter of pride at this point for Defiance?
Yeah, and of course, when you're seniors, this is challenging. Because now as seniors, it's like the WBL, is that even possible? Playoffs, what's happening there? So you have to start thinking about changing your goals. What are the options here? What are we trying to accomplish? Because those things are just kind of out of reach. So now maybe take it one game at a time. Let's just look at winning the next game. Let's just look at being more disciplined. Let's just look at maybe some focus.
I would say one snap at a time.
One snap at a time.
You live and die with every snap of the football for the next 3 weeks.
We always talk in golf. What's the most important shot in golf? The next one. And so when we're talking about this, what's the most important game? The next one. What's the most important play? The next one. You got to put these penalties behind you. You got to put the sloppiness behind you. You got to move on. Now, the positive for Defiance is I feel like we've seen some good improvement, particularly in Colt Ward tonight. He had a little bit more awareness. He still made some mistakes, but his ball looked pretty good as he was throwing some. He had some missed balls, maybe missed balls by wide receivers, and he was making some deep throws. His ball looked good. It looked strong. He looked a little bit better. Maybe we can improve that from week to week.
We'll see what they can do. They are on the road. I'm trying to think where we are at next Friday night. I believe it's at Tenora, if I'm not mistaken. So we will hope that you will join us. I believe Josh Bush is going to have the call of that one. So for tonight, Andy, appreciate you throwing on the headset. Good to work with you again for another week.
Good to be here. I enjoy it so much. Thank you.
Again, our director tonight is Josh Bush. Our producer is Ryan Fairchild. Our camera operators, Richard De Silva, Brock Young, Caden Garcia, and Malachi Tracy, as well as Sean Vandermark. For Andy Tracy, I'm Brent Balbinot, thanking you, the fan, for tuning in, and all of our underwriters for helping make the broadcast a possibility. Final again tonight at Fred Brown Stadium. Shawnee comes from behind, overcoming a 2-point halftime deficit, and they win by 20, 34-14. You've been watching a presentation of DCTV Sports.